Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mark Jones. Both teams come in irritated, frustrated, and at a crossroads. Both coaches agree that only one thing and one thing only will solve their respective problems, and that's a win. And certainly, Tim, both teams have the talent to get the job done.
10-1 last year. High hopes this year. Oh, they've got the talent. If you start on defense, you look at Dre Bly, two-time All-American, folks. This is the best corner in the entire United States of America. Then you move over to offense. They've got the high school freshman of the year last year. 80% of their offense already for Ronald Curry. Today they get Oscar Davenport back. He is their quarterback who was injured. He was the MVP of the team when they were ranked 4th in the nation, so they have talent. On the other side, well, for Clemson, they're upset with Tommy West, the head coach. But to be honest, it's a rebuilding year for them. They need patience. Antoine Edwards comes back today, but he's got a bad hamstring. They've had 15 turnovers. They can't have that today if they expect to beat Carolina.
Yeah, Tommy West has been under a lot of pressure during the week. He has been called a lot of different things. The one thing you can't call Tommy West, though, is a quitter. He has plenty of fire left in his belly, even as the disappointments tug on his emotions. Back with the kickoff after this.
But let's update some of the scores. Some of you saw this game right here on ABC. Ohio State blowing out Penn State 28-9. They had a block punt for a touchdown and a fumble recovery for a touchdown. Florida is struggling with Alabama. They've turned it over 3 times in the red zone. And Florida State, Chris Wenke has a touchdown pass, still has not tossed an interception in some time since the NC State game. And Autry Denson has a touchdown as Notre Dame leads Stanford. We'll have all the scores and highlights at halftime. Enjoy the game.
Back at Kenan Memorial Stadium in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, both teams looking to snap 3-game losing streaks. Head coach Carl Torbush of North Carolina says the buzzword today is urgency.
I'd say that's correct.
But it's a very, very important ball game because if either one of us have bowl aspirations, if we have any chance to compete in the ACC race, then this is a must-win for both teams.
Meanwhile, Tommy West, in his 5th year as head coach, he has been through a lot this week at Clemson, looking to take his team to their 4th consecutive bowl game. And Tommy West so far has held up very well under the heat in Clemson, South Carolina.
Tommy's going to make a change today, too. He's going to change quarterbacks. Carolina does not know that. Instead of Brandon Streeter, the junior who's played the first 4 games, instead he's going to go with Woody Dantzler, the freshman. Gives them a lot more mobility. Guarantee you they watched Joe Hamilton of Georgia Tech last week tear North Carolina apart, and Dantzler gives them that same kind of mobility at quarterback.
Clemson won the toss and has decided to put its defense on the field. They have deferred. So North Carolina will receive the opening kickoff. Kicking off for Clemson, it's Bryant Smith, number 6, and back deep, it's Tyrell Godwin for North Carolina, joined by Corey Bailey, number 12. That's Godwin on the right, Bailey on the left.
Best thing for Clemson here would be to kick it deep and not allow a run back because Godwin has terrific speed.
Godwin already has a 100-yard kickoff return to his credit. That coming against Stanford a couple of weeks ago. And we're underway. It'll be Bailey. Bailey brought down at the 30-yard line, a return of 16 yards. Look at the Chile starting lineups up front. Carolina has to run the ball better this week. Cam Holland, number 66, the center, one of the biggest surprises up front this year so far for the Tar Heels. Look at the receivers, Stevens, Nay Brown, and Alan Mogridge. Stevens, the team's leading receiver. Oscar Davenport back at the starting quarterback position. He has played just 7 snaps so far this year. He was injured in their first game of the season after just 4 snaps.
His whole career, he suffered injuries, 3 knee surgeries, had that ankle problem. We'll find out early how healthy he is and what kind of mobility he has.
Here he is throwing on the waggle, looking downfield. And Davenport completes his first pass to number 18, Nay Brown, at the 41-yard line. A pickup of 12 and a first down. Defensively for Clemson, this is what it looks like. McKenzie, Childress, and Broomfield up front. Dingle has 5 sacks already this year among the linebackers. The secondary, though, needs a little bit of work. Antoine Edwards, number 1, is the leader back there from Starkville, Mississippi, but his hamstring is a little bit suspect. It is first down and 10 from the 41-yard line. May Brown in motion. The toss to the short side of the field. That's Godwin. And he's brought down at the 42-yard line. The tackle on the play made by Chris Jones, number 57.
Mark, when we talked to the Clemson coaches and we asked them which quarterback they wanted to go against, Davenport or Ronald Curry for North Carolina, they said Davenport. And the reason they wanted Davenport because he's not as mobile as Curry. He won't tuck it away and run as quickly. He will throw more than he'll run. But the Carolina coaches want him to take a hit early so that he can gain some confidence in his leg and find out that it is in fact okay.
See how quickly, Tim, he gets hit. This time he hands it off to the fullback, Deion Dyer, number 38, the 5'11", 255-pound junior, who the coaches want to give a few carries to today. Dyer known as a good blocker and a decent runner as well. The second down. And 3 to go. Nose of the ball on the 46. Brown in motion. Another waggle. And they complete it out of the backfield to Dyer again. He is right near the first down marker. Brought down by Raheem Abdullah, the 6'6" junior, number 53 right there from Jacksonville.
Boy, what a nice play that was, too. Watch James Wagstaff, number 73. He takes on the outside pressure with the block that allows Davenport that extra split second to get it out to his fullback, Robinson. Very nicely designed, but they didn't get the first and will have to punt.
Antoine Edwards right there. And Brian Smith's punting. This one will be down at the 3-yard line. A 46-yard punt down by Danny Davis. Good special teams work, Tim, by North Carolina. A look at the Chili starting lineups. Clemson now on offense. This offensive line has to get back to playing Clemson football, which means running the ball well. Look at the receivers. Wofford, Mal Lawyers, the team's leading receiver, and T.J. Watkins in at tight end. Dantzler, the starting quarterback, getting his first start today. Witherspoon and Travis Zachary behind him.
No huddle. They'll have to bang it out of there. This is not the kind of field position that Tommy West wanted to start with this afternoon.
Dantzler hands it off for little or no gain. That's Travis Zachary, brought down by Marcus Down, number 78. Part of that front four defensively for North Carolina, joined by number 91 Pringley, 89 Sherrod Peace, and number 86 Ebenezer Ecubon. The linebackers Hard, Spoon, and Newman. Newman, a Butkus nominee. Fisher, Leggins, Black, and Dre Bly, the All-American, struggling so far this year on the corner.
Keep in mind now, this is Woody Dantzler, the freshman at quarterback. He's mobile, but he is a freshman.
On second down. He hands it off. They run between the tackles again. That's Travis Zachary, the 6'1" freshman, tackled by Brandon Spoon.
You know, one thing they're doing here very early is they're allowing Dantzler just to hand the ball off. I mean, not make any bad judgments here by rolling him out. They were backed up. The only thing you can do is just try to bang it out of there and try to get some room and maybe even try to break one. But, you know, you just don't want to take a safety down here. You don't want to make a critical error. They've had 15 turnovers already this year. You don't want to do that and give Carolina an easy one.
They are somewhat limited when Dantzler's in the ball game with respect to their offensive package. Third down and long. Now whistles down on the field. They blow it dead.
That's a freshman mistake. I think he took too much time, didn't get the playoff, which is going to back him up even more. Delay of game.
Delay on the offense.
See, I've got to tell you something right now about Tommy West. They're beating him up down in South Carolina. The media's after him. The fans are after him. They want him to get out of there. You know, there's people, they've lost patience because they've been spoiled a little bit. I mean, he lost some quality players last year. I mean, just start with Priester and guys like that. They're all gone. Now you're dealing with young players, and they're making mistakes. He's as frustrated as the fans are, I guarantee you.
Yeah, all about expectations on third down and long. 10 to go. Dantzler hands it off to the freshman tailback, who was nailed right away by Marcus Dow, number 78. Missed all of last year with a fractured kidney, but back again and better than ever this year.
300 pounds. I tell you what, that's two great plays he's made in this one series. Scrapes off, comes down the line. They tried to pull, and when they did pull, they left the gap for him to shoot. He came right off his hip and made the tackle. Nicely done by the senior.
Kevin Laird into punt for Clemson. Averaging a very healthy 42.9 yards per. It's off a high one, and Nate Brown will field it at the 43. Brown steps out of bounds at the 32-yard line, a 41-yard punt, 11 yards on the return. And North Carolina, on its second offensive series of the game, will have very good field position when we come back. Oscar Davenport back to direct the offense for North Carolina on its second series. Tim, it's all about field position.
Well, last week against Georgia Tech, look, they started on their own 14, had to punt, their own 14, their own 12. They couldn't get out of their own backyard. Now they come in here. See, they had no success with that. They come in here right away against Clemson. They're starting at the 34-yard line, 33-yard line. Great field position, and this is where it's like running downhill for the Carolina offense.
Stevens and Brown split wide to the top of your screen. Brown in motion. Into the end zone. Stevens incomplete at the goal line.
Oh, you don't get any better coverage. Like you wanted to know about Edwards' hamstring, folks, it's healthy. He
They
put
went
on
after
some
it.
burners.
They went after Antoine Edwards right away.
Yeah, take a look at it, though. This is L.C. Stevens against Edwards. Now watch the makeup time. Edwards, who reaches over with that left hand. I can't help but think back about that controversial pass interference call that was called against him up in Virginia that decided the game. Exactly like that play. Just an outstanding defensive breakup.
Here's Davenport handing it off, this time to Rufus Brown. Brown brought down at the 34-yard line by number 52, Adrian Dingle. Dingle suffered a hyperextended knee against Virginia Tech. Back in action now. Still not quite 100%.
Reggie Herring, he'll call the plays. They don't have a defensive huddle. You see, they all just kind of stand on the field and wait for his signal. He'll give the signal to the defensive line, the linebackers, and then the secondary.
3rd and 11 for North Carolina. Godwin. Good speed, but couldn't get to the perimeter, and is brought down at the 28 by Alex Ardley, the corner, with good run support.
Well, I'll tell you what. One thing Clemson does well is run to the football. Now watch the left of your screen. Here comes the linebacker, Jones. Actually, that's Abdullah, who got the pressure, forced him to go a little bit wider, and then all of a sudden here comes Ardley out of that corner spot to make the tackle. As long as they can get that inside pressure, get the linebackers scraping off and forcing them wide, they're going to have success.
Godwin taking a breather. Into attempt a field goal now from 49 yards out is Josh McGee, who's 3 for 3 so far this season. Didn't get enough of it. And Reggie Herring is fired up.
That's a big swing for Clemson, and they're not happy. The fans down here upset because they start at the Clemson 33 and still come away with no points.
ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by the new Dodge. It's about change. Chili's, a proud sponsor of ABC College Football. Salomon Smith Barney, let's get to work. Success is earned. And Nike. 1st and 10 Tigers from their own 32-yard line. Wofford in motion. Carolina was showing blitz, and Zachary gains about a yard. Let's go back to our New York studio and John Saunders.
And Mark, time for the Burger King update. Washington State and UCLA. Remember last year they stopped Jermaine Lewis trying to go in with a go-ahead touchdown, and UCLA lost to Washington State. This time they didn't stop. 7-0 is the early lead for the Bruins. Mark.
Boy, everyone talking about whether that game against Miami for the Bruins is going to be rescheduled, Tim. Could prove to be vital in the final calculations.
Yeah, it really could. I know Bob Toledo wants it rescheduled. The difference is he had his team prep for it. Now he's got to reload when he gets to the end of the line.
2nd down and long. Dantzler back to pass, and he is smothered back at the 20-yard line. That play, Tim, appeared to be blown up right from the beginning. A loss of 11 yards.
You know, it almost looks like Woody Dantzler, who's just 5'11", and a freshman, got lost behind Corey Halsey, big number 71. Look, he can't see. All of a sudden, he sees all blue jerseys. Icubon gets there first, followed by 4 other blue jerseys. There's a freshman who's got to throw on time, has to throw with rhythm, and he got lost back there and just wasted too much time and eventually sacked.
3rd and 21 now for Clemson. Flags down.
Dead ball, right to the snap, false start on the offense, 5 yards, keep it down.
Robin Wood, our referee today, wearing the white hat.
Look at Reggie Herring right there with the headset on, the defensive coordinator. He has set the tempo. He set the pace right now for Clemson all day. In the last 3 plays for Carolina's offense, they held them to no yards, -1 and 2, and that's when the Tar Heels were starting at the Clemson 33-yard line. So he has set the pace. He's already helped Clemson with his defense. Now it's up to the offense to generate something, and here they've already lost a ton.
25 yards to go for a first down. And they hand it off to the fullback, Terry Witherspoon, the 6', 250-pound junior. And in comes the punting unit, Brendan Spoon making the tackle for Carolina. Fans like it. Clemson punting on its 2nd offensive series. Kevin Lairden. And back deep, it's Corey Bailey standing on his own 42 for North Carolina. A high spiraling punt. Fair catch called at the 46, and that's going to be a flag. Michael Allen making the hit, albeit illegally, after the fair catch was called for. A 35-yard punt.
See, and that's part of the frustration that Tommy West is going through. That's just a mental error.
Fair catch interference on the kicking team. 15 yards from the spot of the foul, and it'll be first down.
See, but that is another freshman. This is a freshman mistake. Now watch his hand, see if it's, look, there's the fair catch. Obvious to everybody. Now, if you're a freshman cover guy, you've got to be coming down and looking for that fair catch signal. He obviously missed it and picks up the 15-yard unnecessary roughness penalty. Michael Allen.
Heard it from the coach, too. And in at quarterback now is Ronald Curry, the freshman for North Carolina. Number 13. Hands it off on his first play. Rufus Brown gaining about 2 yards on the play out to the 37-yard line. There's a look at Curry, the freshman. Talked about him in the opening. So far completing 49% of his passes, but Tim, the number that looms large, 80% of this team's offense.
Well, the freshman is having a huge impact here at Carolina already, and everybody knows he was the National High School Player of the Year. Great basketball player as well. He's going to play hoops here at Carolina. He's just a tremendous talent.
2nd down and 8. Curry throws incomplete to his back out of the backfield. Ronnie Robinson, number 32. It'll be 3rd down and long. Well, next Saturday, folks, more college football action for you. Most of you will see Georgia Tech take on NC State. Wow, what a great game that's going to be. A couple of unbeatens in the ACC. The rest of you will see either Nebraska, Texas A&M, or Kansas State against number 15, Colorado. That's next Saturday, and don't forget to call your cable operator for the games available on pay-per-view.
Carl Torbush took over when Mack left for Texas, and he beat Virginia Tech 42-3 in that Gator Bowl, and everybody say, hey, he's going to be great. Preseason ranked 13th. They say they're going to get better and better, and they've struggled ever since.
Curry back to pass, has time, threw into traffic intended for L.C. Stevens, and it's 4th down for Carolina. The freshman seemed to be a little unsettled that time, unsure of himself in the pocket.
I want you just to watch his feet and watch if he throws on balance. Now, a good drop back, but then when he throws, look, he's off balance. You see that? He was falling away. He's got to learn to step back, and he's got to go ahead and throw it.
Brian Schmitz now in to attempt a field goal from 54 yards out. Got some leg on this. He had the distance, but he pushed it wide. Schmidt's now 0 for 2 today. And once again, they get nothing out of good field position. Carolina and Clemson tied at 0 when we come back.
Still scoreless here in Chapel Hill as you look at Ronald Curry, the freshman. And, you know, he's 0 for 2 now, and he's not throwing like he did in high school. Look at his feet and watch his balance. See how he kind of stutters his feet and falls away to the left and throws off his front foot. In high school, he always threw off his plant foot, was on balance, and threw authoritatively. Consequently, he's 0 for 2, and he's not on target.
Maybe the jitters, who knows? Dantzler back to pass. Going up top for Lawyer. Incomplete at the 15-yard line. Fisher in on the coverage for North Carolina. He's 2nd down and 10. Get a look at Dantzler's arm on that pass. You know, a couple of years ago, he was rated as one of the top incoming freshman quarterbacks in the country.
Even though that was incomplete, it served notice that he can throw downfield. They did that just to loosen up the Carolina defense.
2nd and 10 for Clemson. Witherspoon and Zachary out of the eye. Zachary plowing forward between the tackles to the 42-yard line. A flag down in the field.
Yeah, another mistake by Clemson. It's going to be holding against the Tigers, and they'll bring this back. So right now, Clemson is in minus yardage offensively for the game.
Been the story of the season so far for Tommy West's crew.
You have the feeling, though, that these two teams are just going to kick out of this pretty soon. They're going to have a breakout.
Too much talent on both sides of the ball.
Well, they're just missing. Curry's passes just missed. The field goal just wide right. Clemson still making penalties.
Carolina's defense holding up so far here in the first quarter. A defense that has given up 31 points per game so far this season. Dantzler on the roll. And brought down at the 22-yard line by Brandon Spoon. Spoon from Burlington, North Carolina. Top tackler on the team so far, a loss of 5.
This is what Joe Hamilton had success with last week, getting on the corner. But you can see here the blue jerseys aren't fooled. Great containment on the outside, and then the pursuit by the rest of the defense. The play was made by Cedric Hodge, who actually kept this thing from going real wide, and then the pursuit came from the inside. Good play by the defense. Spoon's having a nice game. He's already been in on 3 tackles.
Yeah, sure is. Backs out of the eye on 3rd down and 24. Austin is nailed in the backfield by number 86, Ebenezer Ekuban. A guy who has the ability to be a dominant player on that front.
Watch the top of your screen, folks. I'm telling you, this is how you do it. You come hard off the edge, you tuck your tail, you keep your leverage. He's strong enough to take him down with that big right arm of his. It looks like a tree trunk. 3 and outs. You've got it like that.
Kevin Laird into punt for Clemson. Standing on his 6. Gets off a nice punt. Bailey back at the 32. Got a couple of nice blocks. And Bailey on Clemson's side of midfield, a 49-yard punt. 20 on the return. And once again, the Tar Heels with good field position to start a drive. Well, don't forget Sunday night, it's NFL football on ESPN beginning at 8:15 Eastern time as Seattle takes on Kansas City. Warren Moon and the Seahawks take on Derek Thomas and the Chiefs. And then Monday night, switch it over to ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. A great one this week. Minnesota and Green Bay, 2 teams at 4-0. Only one will remain undefeated. Curry back in for this series for North Carolina. Hands it off. And it's Brown at the 48-yard line. Tackled by Chris Jones.
A lot of line movement, trying to get anything going. Watch this. Stop it right here. See, they're pulling their right guard and their right tackle and trying to bring them over and bang that big hole out of there, and it's just not working.
Carolina really having trouble running the ball in 1998. It's been their Achilles heel for a couple of years. 2nd down and 8. Curry. It's caught, but it's out of bounds. Intended for Nate Brown. It'll be 3rd down. DeMarco Fox in on coverage for Clemson.
Clemson's defense is doing an outstanding job. Carolina's had good field position the entire first quarter and haven't been able to capitalize. Reggie Herring has his guys playing well, but they've got to be concerned because the offense keeps putting them in this hole, and eventually the defense is going to break down. They can't keep doing this. Minus yardage by the Clemson offense.
And Carolina's unable to capitalize on good field position on 3rd down and 8 now. Here's a design play for Curry to keep it, and he puts it on the ground and fumbles. Clemson gets the ball.
And Ronald Curry, I think, hurt his leg.
He is still down at the 47-yard line.
He got hit from behind and was in an awkward position when he got hit.
DeMarco Fox recovered the loose ball for Clemson.
Mark, this was a design play. It's a quarterback draw out of the shotgun. One step, looked like you're going to throw. All right, now he stopped here. Now watch, he'll drag that leg, and when he comes up, his upper torso gets bent back. So I'm not sure if it's his leg or it could be his back or hip, but you could see his upper torso go in an opposite direction of his lower body.
Oscar Davenport likely now to get the next series offensively for North Carolina.
You know, here's great concern for one of the finest young athletes they've ever had here at North Carolina by Carl Torbush. I'm guaranteeing you Bill Guthridge, the head basketball coach, is holding his breath as well.
Curry, as we mentioned earlier, slated to play on the varsity basketball team here at Carolina, a 2-guard. And Torbush can ill afford injuries to any more quality players.
He looks like he's going to be all right. You know, the one thing he does have, he has great legs, he has great quickness, and tremendous leaping ability. He looks like he's going to be fine. Maybe just the wind knocked out of him.
You see some concern coming from his teammate Oscar Davenport.
You know, they've had problems at quarterback all 3 games. And like Clemson, they've had the turnovers. They had the interceptions, the fumbles.
You know, Davenport and Curry have had a great relationship so far, although they're competing at the same spot. 1st and 10 for the Tigers at the 42-yard line. Dantzler hands it off. Nice cutback by Austin. Travis Austin keeping those legs moving.
He fumbled the ball.
They're going to whistle it dead first.
No.
And now they say it's Carolina ball.
Yeah, he fumbled it. They were calling that right away. The ball was loose, and it's the same problem that they've had all year.
They turned it over 7 times. 7 times last week against Wake Forest. This is their first today.
Another young player, sophomore, trying to make something happen, trying to get that extra yard, and invariably, when you're trying to get that extra yard, you're pushing with your legs and loosening up your arms. Now watch this. Great break to the outside. All right, now instead of getting to the outside, he tries to cut back inside, and watch, the ball is just pulled away by Jomo Leggins, the safety.
Oscar Davenport back in at quarterback for North Carolina. 1st and 10. Rufus Brown running off tackle over the right side over Brian Jones and Joe Ellison. Brought down by Chris Jones, number 57. There's Curry shaken up moments ago. Really a pleasant, affable, soft-spoken athlete.
And I mean, he's built like a man.
Sure is.
He's 6'2", 200 pounds. He's thick.
2nd down and 9 for Oscar Davenport in Carolina's offense. Go with an ace formation, 2 tights and 2 wideouts. Nate Brown with the catch down to the 42, about 1.5 yards short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and short. Working on Antoine Edwards.
Watch this. It's more of a zone, though. Watch, they try to get help from the linebackers and the safety. All right, he's playing him man because he's in that zone, but then you see the other guys who drop into a hook area immediately come over and converge on Brown. They'll play some combination defenses
Hey, what do you think of Davenport so far?
I like him. You know, he's very talented. He is tall, he's thin, but he's fragile. He's had those knee problems and the ankle problems.
Still hasn't been hit yet today either. Approaching 1 minute to go in the period. Nothing happening on that running play.
Here's another stop by the defense.
Donald Broomfield. One of the leaders among that defensive line. A look at Curry writhing in pain. The report from the sidelines is that he has a stinger in his shoulder. They can ice it down, and they fake the punt. And they fumble it. Or is it whistled down? This time, the officials are going to call the ball dead at the 38-yard line.
Mark, anytime a team has field position across midfield, you have to be alert defensively of the fake. The coaches were even screaming from the Clemson sideline, watch the fake, and don't be offsides. This was well designed and well executed. Watch this now. There it is to the up back. His knee was down before the ball came loose, so that's a good call.
And it's a first down for North Carolina. Boy, the punter Smits really sold the fake too, Tim. First and 10 from the 38 for Carolina. Brown in motion. And they may have not gotten the playoff before the end of the period. The first 15 minutes in the books for Carl Corbush's team. Two teams desperate for a win. ABC Sports presentation of college football returns after this message and a word from our ABC stations. The true freshman Ronald Curry of North Carolina out for the afternoon with a stinger in his left and non-throwing shoulder. So that means now that Oscar Davenport, the same Oscar Davenport with the bad knee, who's had 3 different surgeries on his knees and a broken ankle, must hold up.
Yeah, and here is his history right here. We'll take you all the way starting in 95 through 98 and look at all his medical problems. He is, as we said, somewhat fragile. He's only been on the field 7 plays this year prior to this game, and so they're also worried about not only his ankle and his knee, but also his fatigue factor.
Clemson has yet to put a hit on him to test him. He tosses it short side of the field. That's Godwin. Down to the 34-yard line. Good pursuit by Howard Bartley and Harold Means, number 45. Ardley also in on the tackle. Godwin's a guy they want to get the ball to this afternoon quite a bit. Good speed. A converted defensive back. A heck of a baseball player, too.
Well, you know, with Oscar Davenport in the game, you get stability. He was the MVP of this offense last year, although he missed the last couple of games with an ankle injury, but he is an outstanding leader.
2nd and 7 for Carolina. Davenport fires incomplete, intended for Dyer in the flat. Wants the interference call on Raheem Abdullah, but he won't get it. It'll be 3rd down and long for North Carolina.
You know, when you watch the quarterbacks at Carolina, they want to throw on time. They don't want to hold it too long, but they throw off balance because it looks like they're both quarterbacks trying to rush it a little bit. And that was great coverage by Abdullah. He's been terrific in the first 4 games with 3 sacks, 6 tackles for losses, and just causing havoc.
3rd and 7. We have to keep in mind Davenport has only played about a dozen snaps so far this season. On the flank, complete, and a first down. L.C. Stevens at the 24-yard line. Stevens, a big target at 6'5", 220, picks up 11 yards.
And let me tell you something, that was an outstanding throw by Davenport. That was the Oscar Davenport, the MVP last year. This is just a quick post pattern. Down 8, cross inside, the ball was waiting for him, and Davenport threw it with velocity. Now watch his setup. 1, 2, 3, step, boom, let it go. That is the Davenport of old. His confidence is growing as the game goes on.
First down and 10. Davenport hands it off. Rufus Brown down to the 20-yard line. Brown, a redshirt freshman, was hurt for a couple of games. Missed most of spring with an injury as well. Tackled by Adrian Dingle. There's a look at Brown. Not really a quick back. Not really blazing speed. About a 4'6" guy.
Carolina's had great field position all afternoon. Have not been able to capitalize.
Second down and 6. 3 wideouts and on display. Touchdown, North Carolina. Corey Bailey.
That ball was perfectly thrown, and Davenport was leveled. Means came with the pressure. Play action. Watch when he releases this ball. He gets drilled. Boom, by Means. But the ball was delivered perfectly. Touchdown. Oh, how nice is that? Corey Bailey had to step and separated another redshirt freshman for the touchdown.
McGee in for the extra point. Right between the pipes, and North Carolina has fired the first salvo of the game. They lead 7-0. Corey Bailey got the catch on the pass from Davenport, who paid a price. Oscar Davenport of North Carolina telling his offensive lineman a few moments ago, hey guys, great protection.
That was the Oscar of old in the last couple plays of that drive. He threw with authority. He threw on time. He took a hit. He delivered through the touchdown pass. Outstanding job by Davenport.
Antoine Edwards and Javis Austin back deep. This is Austin at the 3. Austin smothered short of the 20-yard line, about the 19. Carolina's defense coming onto the field. That guy, key cog in that defensive secondary. Now it's time for the Aflac trivia question. This week's question is drama suspense. Name 3 of the 4 players to earn 3-time consensus All-America honors. And Dre Bly, by the way, is a 2-time consensus All-American player. Bly has yet to be tested this afternoon. We'll be back with the answer to the question in just a minute. 1st and 10 for Clemson from the 19. Dantzler fumbles it. He fumbled it out of bounds, and there's a flag down at the 18.
Yeah, that's the old Stabler rule. He threw it forward and kind of rolled it out of bounds. He can't do that. See, Tommy West saying he had a fullback right there in the flat, and he was trying to throw him the ball.
That's about 3 in this quarter.
There's 3 calls in this quarter he didn't like from that official. He's talking to Robin Wood, the referee. He says, Robin, that's 3 in this quarter.
They've had some tough ones go against them this year.
Yeah, there's no question about that.
Illegal forward pass on the offense. 5 yards from the spot of the foul.
See, they're saying the fullback was in that area, that he was outside the tackle and had the ability to throw. Now, once he crosses, stop it right there. Once he crosses this line right here where the tackle was, if he throws out in that area and there's a receiver there, that's not intentional grounding. And he tried to underhand it, throw it, and get it to the fullback.
Yeah, he was there.
See, did you see 36 Churchill? That's who he was trying to get the ball to.
Boy, Tommy West has had to fight for everything this year. Nothing has come easily. 2nd down and 18 after the penalty. Out of the shotgun this time. Dantzler is going to keep it himself and has a lot of room. Dantzler steps out of bounds at the 32-yard line with the 1st down. A pickup of 21. A well-designed, well-executed play, Tim.
Boy, they needed that too, because in 12 plays, they were actually 14 yards in the hole, minus 14 yards offense. But now he comes around this way, and obviously he'll not only move the chains, but he's getting blockers from the receivers, and he just kind of steps out of bounds. Watch the receivers now. They kind of clear everything by going inside, then they get a little cheapy block. Dantzler takes it around the corner for the 1st down. That's their first down of the game.
Giving them a little more room at the 31-yard line. Hand it off. Boy, A lot of contact inside between the tackles. Zachary got smacked by Keith Newman, number 9 for North Carolina. Newman, a Butkus Award candidate, has a team-high 20 tackles last week against Georgia Tech with 1 sack.
You know, this Carolina defense has taken a lot of heat, but they lost All-American end Greg Ellis, tackle Bonnie Holiday. They're missed. Then, of course, Mays and Simmons were 2 of the most talked about defenders in the country last year. So, I mean, now you have Hodge and Spoon and Newman trying to make the same kind of headlines, but they aren't there yet.
Second and long, incomplete. Close to being a lateral. It'll be 3rd down and long. To get back to the North Carolina defensive point you were making, Tim, all the people that they lost as we look at the total yardage.
Well, and this is a topic of discussion down here this week as well. There's Carl Torbush, the new head coach, right? He's also the defensive coordinator. Well, he's the only one that does both in the entire country. But you've got guys that are head coach and offensive coordinators. They don't take any heat, but they're giving him heat saying, well, he's spread too thin, and the reason is because Carolina's 0-3.
3rd down and 9 for Clemson. A blitz, and it's incomplete. Newman was in Dantzler's face again. So after a nice run and a 1st down by number 11, Clemson has to punt.
Well, I tell you, they're coming off the edges. They're getting pressure inside, but really, Newman again came from the outside just like he did last time. He's going to cause problems all day, and the more he gets near Dantzler, Dantzler's going to think about him more often and not think about his receivers.
Laird standing on his own 19. A low line drive punt. It's a very fortuitous bounce. Taking the ball to the 17-yard line, a 50-yard punt. Nothing on the return. On a sunny and warm, beautiful afternoon in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. The Tar Heels lead 7-0. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Genuine Chevrolet. The cars more Americans trust. Coors Light, frost brewed to tap the clean taste of the Rockies. Aflac, insuring over 40 million people worldwide. And Burger King. If you ask us, it just tastes better. 2 years ago, North Carolina defeated Clemson 45-0 right here. Last year, they defeated the Tigers 17-10, trying to make it 3 in a row. Oscar Davenport, 1st and 10 for the Tar Heels. Godwin to the short side of the field, probably lost a yard or 2.
Here's a look at Antoine Edwards. Now, the defense for Clemson has played very well. They need him or one of these guys to come up with a big play because the offense for Clemson's not getting it done. They've got 1 first down. They've got a turnover that Carolina turned into points. Other than that, Clemson's defense has been getting the job done. Reggie Herring has been victimized. His defense has been victimized by the offensive turnovers and ineptness all season. And again, they're paying the price today.
A defense that leads the conference with 14 sacks so far, unable to get to Davenport this afternoon. To the first man through, the fullback, Ronnie Robinson, 6'1", 240-pound sophomore. Gains back the yardage they lost on the prior play. Donald Broomfield making the tackle.
This is really the first bad field position that Carolina's had all afternoon. There was a lot of talk about it this past week because they started out in bad field position the entire first half against Georgia Tech, and it cost them some points. Well, today they've had great field position up until now.
3rd and 10. 3 receiver set. And Carolina calls a timeout. Their first timeout of the afternoon.
Carolina was confused a little bit by the defense that Clemson threw at them. They threw what looked to be 4 defensive backs at him. So right away, play clock was down, and so Davenport took this timeout. Carl Torbush was happy to get the timeout, as a matter of fact.
Smith Barney remembers 2 weeks ago, Stanford and North Carolina tied and had the ball with less than a minute remaining. Carl Torbush takes us through the last fretful moments of the game as Smith Barney remembers what North Carolina would like to forget.
He's such a great competitor. He was trying to gain 2 or 3 more yards, and because of that, he had a fumble punched out, and it was going out of bounds, and they recovered it right as it went out of bounds. On the last series of the game, we felt like sacked. The quarterback was able to redirect, go back against the grain, and before we could chase him down, he's on the 3-yard line, and 2 plays later, they kicked a winning field goal.
And that symbolizes the way the season has gone so far this year for North Carolina. 3rd and 10 for Davenport. On the out, and he's picked off. And this could go for 6. Touchdown, Tigers. Alex Ardley takes it back for the touchdown.
Yeah, I'm telling you something. Reggie Herring's defense is keeping him in this ball game. And although Ardley scored the touchdown, it was Chris Jones that made the play. They gave him a man look and went to zone. But watch number 57 in the orange. 57 gets it first, goes through his hands. Then it's the tip drill to Alex Ardley, and there's nobody going to catch him down the sideline. I'm not up for that, though, Alex. You're going to get hurt diving in the end zone like that. Act like you've been there before.
Sure. Richardson in for the extra point, and we are tied now at 7 apiece. Alex Ardley from Tallahassee, Florida, sitting down there on the Clemson bench, comes up with the pick and ties this game. You know, Reggie Herring has said that his defense has been, unfortunately, a 2-play defensive unit right now. You know, 2 plays to a touchdown. Things have happened so quickly because of the poor field position they've been defending in.
Well, the defense is built around 6 starters from last year, but look at this now. They're in zone coverage, but they came up looking like they were pressing on the corner. Now, there's the linebacker. Jones comes over, 57, goes through his hands. Ardley comes up, gets the tip, the old tip drill. That's tremendous, tremendous. It's a poor throw, but that's tremendous recognition by Ardley to see the tip. They practice that all the time, the old tip drill in practice. There it came through his hands, and he was alert, but Davenport would like to have that one back. It was not well thrown.
And Tim, a little justification and vindication, actually, for the Clemson secondary. Ardley, Carswell, Allen, Fox, and Edwards have been under a lot of heat lately for not playing well.
Well, they're on the field so long, and the offense puts them in some precarious situations. Take this game right here. The Clemson offense has had 13 offensive plays. That's it. The defense has had to be on the field 23 plays. You can't do that and continue to get that same performance out of all your players.
Well, pretty soon it'll be the Clemson defense coming off the field telling the offense, hey, hold them till we get back.
16 turnovers this early in the season is not a good thing.
And North Carolina now, with that turnover, has committed 9 in the last 4 games. Davenport with his first interception of the season. Smith kicking off. And that's Godwin out of the end zone. Godwin takes it back to the 25-yard line, 27 yards on the return. Well, earlier we asked the Aflac trivia question, and it was, can you remember 3 of the 4 players to earn 3-time consensus All-America honors? Tim, what do you think? Can you remember any of them?
Oh, absolutely. There was Walker, there was Easley, there was Green, there was Robinson.
A couple of UCLA guys, Easley and Robinson.
And, of course, Dre Bly is trying to become one of those guys. He's been a 2-time All-American.
Not having a great year so far, though. He'll be the first to tell you. He remains confident. His offense on the field now 1st and 10 from the 24. Davenport with time. And he overthrows Stevens at the 30-yard line. Antoine Edwards in on the coverage.
Carolina's offensive line has been suspect for years. A lot of people point to that for the reason they didn't make it to the Alliance Bowl last year and lost to Florida State. But I want you to watch the protection that he gets on this play. Just stop right there. There's not anybody within 5 yards of him. Everybody's on the ground. Blue jerseys taking white jerseys down. He had all the time he wanted to make that throw. Unfortunately, there was nobody open. Great coverage by Edwards, so he just threw it away.
2nd and 10. Stevens in motion to the top of your screen. Handoff is to Brown. Brown with a few yards after contact out to the 28-yard line, brought down by Jason Holloman. The 6'3", 263-pound sophomore. Carolina has to get its running game on track today. Rufus Brown, Harold Godwin, Rayvon Anderson is injured, will not play this afternoon. But that's a focal point of their offense. They have to get on track.
Mark, this is a good down to run a draw play. But I guarantee you, Davenport's going to be looking for his two favorite guys, Stevens and Brown.
Either team tearing it up there offensively. Davenport with time again and overthrows Nate Brown in 1st down territory. It'll be 4th down in punting situation.
In that situation, Davenport feels comfortable to go to Stevens and Brown. So that time what they did is they sent Stevens down deep and tried to clear things out for Brown underneath. He's just going to cut out, hoping that Stevens took the defenders with him, but he didn't. Nobody bit on the bait, and there's DeMarco Fox, number 12, who stayed home to take him in the flats.
This is a returnable punt. Zachary pushed out of bounds at the 40-yard line, and a flag down back at the 27-yard line. It's going against North Carolina.
And I'd make him kick it again. I would go ahead and take the penalty and make him kick it again and see if we can get a return out of this thing. See if Clemson could get a return. Either way, it looks like Clemson's going to start with pretty good field position.
For one of the few times today. Boy, Robin Wood's been a busy referee today.
Holding on the kicking team during the kick, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, and repeat 4th down.
You're exactly right, Tim. They're going to make him kick it over again.
Well, it wasn't a very good punch, so they got good field position out of it. But if you make him kick it again, first off, you move him back, and then you'll hope that he doesn't get a good punt back. But even if he does, you hope to get a return by your big play guy, Antoine Edwards. You want the ball in Edwards' hands.
Coach says Smits, the punter, is doing a great job this year. He's just punting a little too much, too frequently. Antoine Edwards back at the 42 for Clemson this time. Whoa, gets off a better punt. Wow. Express airmail back to the 25. Edwards got a nice block. And the punter, Smith, pushes Edwards out of bounds at the 47. What do you think of the call?
By taking the penalty, you made 7 yards.
58 on the punt, 22 on the return. We'll be right back. Antoine Edwards came into the game for Clemson with a question mark as to whether he would play. Well, I guess that last punt return erases that question mark.
Yeah, well, he's still trying to get it loose. You can see him on the sideline there, but you want the ball in his hands. You see how dangerous he is with that 22-yard return.
Dantzler on the pitch on the option. And a nice hit at midfield on Zachary by number 28, Billy D. Greenwood.
Carolina doing a nice job defensively. I mean, they scrape off and get to the ball in a hurry. Two good defenses today. Don't even look at the record. Just look at the defenses. But look at guys scraping down the line, getting rid of blocks, and now watch the pursuit. See, first of all, you get outside. There's your cornerback. Boom. Greenwood, the safety's there, 28. He makes the hit. A lot of blue jerseys getting around the football.
This game's so pivotal for both crews. They can ill afford to lose another game in the conference standings. 2nd down and 6. Backs out of the offset eye. Dantzler got rocked and fell forward for an extra yard at the 48-yard line. Mike Pringley making the hit, along with number 54, Perry.
Clemson's offense has to help its defense. I mean, the thing that they're not doing is moving the chains. They're not giving the defense of Clemson a break. I mean, it's been like 3 in, 3 out, 3 in, punt, 3 in, punt. They've only had 1 first down today.
That defense on the field for too many snaps for Clemson. There's the evidence. 0 for 4 in third down conversions. Third down again. Carolina was coming with a blitz.
Dantzler had the snap come early. He asked for the snap early by tapping the center Gamble on the butt because he thought Carolina jumped and tried to catch him in the neutral zone.
No flags, though, on the play.
Yeah, but I want you to watch Brandon Spoon, 44. I mean, he tattoos Dantzler, and these guys are jumping. Look at him. See, he thought he caught him in the neutral zone coming on that blitz. But look at him. He takes Dantzler and bends him backwards.
In come Laird again for yet another punt today. This is his 4th punt of the afternoon. Corey Bailey standing on his 10 for Carolina. Nice punt. This one should come down inside the 20. And great special teams work by the Clemson Tigers. It's down at the 2.5-yard line. A 46-yard punt, nothing on the return. Michael Allen downing it for the Tigers. Well, tomorrow live at 4 Eastern on ABC Sports. It's championship auto racing action when we bring you the Texaco Grand Prix of Houston. It's the inaugural race. Takes place on a temporary street course. Points leader Alex Zanardi looks for his 2nd title in a row. Bobby Rahal also there. One of my favorites from Dublin, Ohio. First and 10. Carolina in the shadows of its own goalposts. Handed off to the first man through. Dion Dyer, the 5'11" junior. Another carry this afternoon.
One of the intricacies of the game right there. That was great discipline by the Carolina offense. They went to a long count, see if they could draw the defense off sides a little bit to move them out, get that 5-yard penalty, see if they could get a little room. They didn't. Play clock got down to 1. Davenport had them snap it, and they pick up a few yards.
Second down. 6 to go. Davenport incomplete at the 8-yard line. Intended for Dyer, so it'll be third down from their own 2.5.
Adrian Dingle was just flying at Oscar Davenport that time. Davenport had to throw the ball, or he might have had a safety. Dingle came off the corner hard and was almost to the quarterback.
Tim, you surprised they haven't been able to sack him so far today?
Yeah, but they came close. Watch 52 right there on the right hand of your screen. Watch how close he gets. I mean, Davenport felt him and felt, I've got to throw this ball right now, before his back was ready for the reception.
And they have to protect Davenport, the third-string quarterback. Kevin Carty. Ronald Curry, if you're just joining us, had been knocked out of the game earlier today. Davenport complete, and a first down at the 15-yard line. That's L.C. Stevens, his clutch third down receiver.
Right now, Oscar's trying to knock some of the rust off. Coming into this game, he had only played in 7 plays. Now, we saw in the last drive how sharp he was. Then he threw the interception. This is a tough pass to throw all the way across the field, but it's perfectly thrown where only his guy can get it. Stevens makes the catch. Now, watch this. He's on this hash mark. He's got to throw it all the way across the field. I had some pressure again, but he throws a strike. So a little bit inconsistent, but he's playing with confidence again. He's knocking the rust off, and he looks fine.
And Stevens, meanwhile, on the sidelines, appears to be shaken up just a little bit. A fumble. Clemson got it back. The second turnover of the afternoon by Carolina. Chris Jones forced the fumble. The third turnover of the afternoon for Carolina. Adrian Dingle recovering the loose ball.
Watch 57, your linebacker, come into the picture out of the right hand of your screen. He's going to hit the ball with his hands and actually pull it out as he goes by. And then here comes 52 Dingle for the recovery. Right now, the game is being dominated by the Clemson defense. Well, that's a big-time play right there, and that's tremendous arm strength as he's flying back to reach the ball and yank it out.
Reggie Herring has to be proud of his troops today. The offense working with a short field from the 15 now. Dantzler hands it off to Witherspoon. Witherspoon tumbling forward. They're going to mark it at the 10-yard line. Terry Witherspoon is 6 feet, 250 pounds, a junior with good speed.
Yeah, actually he's up to 260 now. We were talking to the coaches. 260 pounds. Now, I'd lay him back there, and I'd just keep running Witherspoon. Don't take him out, coach. Put him back in. That's it.
Single back set.
Now, I like to load up, but look, you give it to your fullback, and when you get a guy 260 pounds coming through there, and if he gets to the secondary, those guys are only 185 pounds. He'll run them over.
Second down from the 10. Dantzler keeps it himself. They're going to mark it down just shy of the end zone, inside the 1-yard line. A first down.
All right, one time you carry it. Now watch the block by the fullback. Watch this, going to come up and lead him in here. Great blocking up front. Here comes 44. Here comes your block. Boom. Just roll him out. 71 Halsey. Here's the guy that squats 711 pounds. He's 335. Put him in front of Dantzler. Now I wouldn't even waste a handoff. I just quarterback sneak it.
First and goal. They hand it off. Waiting for a signal. Witherspoon on the carry. Touchdown Clemson. It took a while, but hey, Tommy West will take it anyway.
You've got to like that if your offense comes on and capitalizes right away.
The officials took a closer look and decided he got in.
Watch the push by the white jerseys. I mean, they fire out. They have the blue jerseys already in the end zone. Good job by the offensive line.
And Tim, that's Clemson football. That is the essence of what they really want to do offensively. Richardson with the extra point, and the Tigers lead 14-7. Let's go back to our New York studio with John and Todd to see what's coming up at halftime.
Coming up on Valvoline Halftime 98, interesting day in college football, especially in Columbus.
Yeah, Ohio State, very impressive, like Nebraska last week. Strength to run the football, speed on the outside, great on both sides of the ball.
We'll look at that and more. It's all coming up on Valvoline Halftime 98.
Clemson leading 14-7. You know, Tim, one of the turning points in the Clemson season could prove to be last Sunday. Tommy West gathered his team together, sat them all down when rumors were swirling about his potential demise, and he told the team, you know, the one thing I will never, ever, ever do, guys, is quit on you. And this is the time of the year, right here, right now, where you are going to find out whether you can handle the heat and grow up and become men.
Hey, he also told him, hey, look, this is my problem, not yours. They're talking about firing me, not firing you. He says, look, your first reaction is to go hide somewhere. Your second reaction is you want to come out and fight everybody. But the third reaction is the right one. You sit back and say, all right, let's do what we can to correct this situation. And that's what they're trying to do. But there's no panic now in North Carolina. This is an experienced ball club. They have a lot of youth, but it's experience. And you bring Davenport back in. He's got 2 timeouts and plenty of time left on the clock. So for Carolina, there is no panic.
Godwin and Bailey standing on the 5 for North Carolina. Clemson 0-2 in ACC play, looking for their first conference win of the year after dropping games to Virginia on a controversial call near the end of the game, and Wake Forest a week ago. Carolina is 0-1 in conference play. Smith with a kick. Godwin thought about it and then thought better and took a knee. So the Tar Heels will start off on their own 20-yard line. Oscar Davenport still in at quarterback. Ronald Curry out for the rest of the afternoon with an injured left shoulder. He suffered a stinger earlier.
All right, Oscar Davenport now has to think, hurry up. Not to the point where you're rushing things in and out of the huddle, but once you get up to the line, you want to read things effectively. You want to use your timeouts effectively. You want to move the chains. Make sure guys are in and out of the huddle quickly. Well, they burn a timeout here, and that's not good.
No, not coming off a kickoff. We're going to take a short break and be right back.
It would have been easy to have been a football player and not a student. And conversely, it would have been much easier to have been just a student and left football for some other day and time. But it wouldn't have been as joyous, as rich, as humbling to have been one without the other. So for all of us, I say thank you from the bottom of my heart, not for a single award on a single night, but for the many memorable and molding moments that we have had the privilege to call ourselves student athletes.
ABC Thursday. Remember the kid who bullied the bullies?
You shot a man for getting out of a car.
He grew up.
You're going to hit me again, aren't you? Yes. Yes, I am.
Rolling Stone calls it fun stuff.
All righty then.
Vengeance Unlimited, ABC Thursday.
Is it just me, or are there a lot of nervous people in here?
Only one detective can catch a killer using nothing but a trench coat and a cigar.
Columbo.
Peter Falk in the role he made famous. An all-new Columbo, ABC Thursday.
Clemson Tiger defense on the field as they have set the table for a 14-7 lead. First down and 10 after that Carolina timeout. On the quick out. Pass complete. And it stops the clock with 4:44 to play. Denny Davis, number 6, on the reception. It'll be second down and short. Actually less than a yard. 3 receivers set for Davenport. Clemson blitzing. And it's piled up in the middle of the field. Deion Dyer, the fullback, stopped up by Donald Broomfield, number 94.
But I think he got the job done. I think he got enough for the first. It's going to be close. They'll stop the clock for a measurement. No, they got the first down, so they'll move the chains. Now, they've had trouble with time of possession all season. Look at this. 174 plays to 235 by their opponents, and then look at the time of possession. And then look at today. See, they've done it well today. They've had 34 plays, almost 14 minutes.
First down and 10. Davenport, quick 3-step drop. Boy, about 4 people could have had their hands on that pass, Tim.
See, but sometimes that time of possession is misleading because you also have the true turnovers, and you almost had one there. 3 turnovers, and you almost had one there.
Stevens coming back into the ball game along with the tight end Dante Finger on second down and 10 from the 30. Davis and Bailey out of the game. 4:09 to play in the first half. Carolina trailing by 7. On the out. Complete and a first down to L.C. Stevens at the 45-yard line. A 15-yard pickup. First down, which stops the clock with 4:02 to play. He was working on Edwards.
See, L.C. Stevens is a senior. He knows where those first down chains are. So what? He gets a good push on Edwards, who's playing soft, gets past the first down marker, cuts out, makes the catch. So they'll move the chains again. But he knew exactly where he was on the field, got his separation, and made the first down catch.
2 years ago against Clemson, Stevens caught 2 touchdown passes. Flags down.
So they had trouble with the exchange. That's something that shouldn't be happening now, but because Oscar Davenport hasn't been practicing and taking those snaps, those things will happen.
You think maybe he's still working off a little rust then?
I don't think there's any question about it. He's trying to knock the rust off.
First down and 15.
See, now I'd be upset if I saw Carl Torbush with my sunglasses on. I left them on his desk yesterday.
They weren't worth that much, were they?
5 yards and repeat the down.
No, he even said, he says that, who left that cheap pair of sunglasses in my office?
And there's not many inexpensive items in that brand new facility over there.
Oh, that is gorgeous. This whole campus is gorgeous. And he's a good coach, boy. I like him a lot.
First and 15. Rufus Brown tripped up after a gain of about 3 yards at the 43. Tackled by Broomfield. And Harold Means, the linebacker.
Still plenty of time in the half. 3:20 to play. I mean, you still want that sense of urgency, but Take your time in the huddle. Make sure you have everything right. Then get up and in and out of the huddle and execute the play. Carolina wants points, needs points in this drive to take you into halftime.
Davenport had it tipped away by the strong safety Robert Carswell, number 9, from Lithonia, Georgia. Carswell is a guy who gained valuable experience a year ago as a freshman. Made a nice play, broke up the pass.
Well, and Oscar's getting away with something here. He threw into coverage. This was a dangerous pass. If you watch, they've got him bracketed. They're in a zone. Now, if you'll watch, they've got him in front and back of the intended receiver. See how they had him bracketed? He got away with one. When the defender, Carswell, gets a hand on it, that's too close.
3rd and long for North Carolina. Brown in motion. Davenport for Stevens, and batted away nicely by who else? Yeah, number 1, Antoine Edwards.
See, and he plays that thing so close, everybody's booing. They thought it should have been pass interference. Every time he defends, he gets that left hand and swats it with the right, and everybody thinks it's pass interference. This is good coverage. Boy, they almost came up with the big plays. Looking right, and all of a sudden he looks back left and sees he's got a guy. He throws. Now watch this. Actually reaches in front of him and swats it down. That's nicely done.
Zachary lets it bounce at the 25. And this is going to pin the Clemson offense at the 6-yard line, including the roll, a 52-yard punt. We were talking about the great facilities here on campus at Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and there's a look of it in the end zone inside Coach Carl Torbush's office. Is that the Ritz Hotel or head coach's office? I mean, it is plush. Shoot, we wanted to order room service in there, huh?
It is the finest football building I have seen at any school in the country, and is better than 90% of the NFL facilities that you will visit. I mean, everything from the coach's office to the weight room to the players' lounge, it is just a magnificent building.
80,000 total square feet at a cost of just under $50 million. Worth every penny. Witherspoon, the fullback, on the carry on 1st and 10.
What that building does is show you the commitment that North Carolina has to its football program. And as you walk around campus, its commitment to athletics at this university, because all the facilities down here are very, very nice. They were ranked 4th in the country last year in the final poll. Preseason ranked 13th this year. Right now they're young, and of course they've gone through a coaching change. So they're rebuilding, but Carolina is going to be reckoned with. I mean, it's going to be a very solid program for a long time.
Type of place you'd want your son to go to school to, i.e. Kevin Brent. Great senior football player out of Maryland. Austin that time piled up. And you don't think that the players here at North Carolina have it good. Look at that. Inside the players' lounge.
I mean, if you're a college kid, would you not like to spend time in this? They've got big screen TVs. They've got their own little phone booths, their own private little study rooms, their own little pool area.
We should get a deal with them.
In a training facility, hot tub, cold tub, they have it all.
0 for 5 on 3rd down conversion. Boone in pursuit, pushes Dantzler out of bounds. Up at the 20-yard line. Hey, Tim, with 1:14 to play, if Carolina gets the ball back here, they might be able to get something on the board.
No question about it, and that's what they're thinking. Now, Carolina has 1 timeout remaining, and they should get decent field position here. You know, it goes back to the 4 don'ts of the kicking game. You talk about it. Don't be offsides, don't rough the kicker, don't let the ball hit the ground, and don't clip.
Josh McGee gets up a high punt. Bailey back to the 36. Cuts it back nicely. Got a good block. Bailey out of bounds on Clemson side of midfield at the 46-yard line, but there's a flag down on the far side of the field.
Yeah, there was a
49.
battle. There was a battle going on over there. It looks like it was going to be holding and a push in the back. They were bumping and grinding all the way down.
Under a minute to play here in the first half.
Kicking game so important. That's where you don't want to make those mistakes.
During the return, illegal block on the back on the receiving team, 10 yards and a first down.
See, there it is. One of the 4 don'ts of the kicking game, don't clip. If you watch the left hand of your screen, the push in the back. He was holding them, they were pushing him, and then he gets that push in the back, the block in the back, and so they're bringing it all the way back to the 39-yard line.
Josh McGee warming up on the sidelines, along with Brian Schmitz.
Now, McGee was 12 of 16 last year. He's 3 for 3 this season, and he's got a 49-yarder, so he's got a good, strong leg.
McGee 0 for 2 this afternoon, though. Davenport on the move, and that one should have been picked off. That was a room service interception. Chris Jones had to go right through his hands. Davenport caught a break, Tim.
Oh, he really caught a big break, and it's another one of those ones he threw off balance. Watch the way he throws this thing. Now, he's scrambling, obviously, but then he just kind of throws off balance and just throws it across the middle of the field up for grabs. I mean, Jones should have had it. Now, watch his reaction. He knows as soon as he releases it, whoops, 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 come on. Woo! Yeah, my bad.
He was thinking about having to make a tackle on the way back. He's 3 of his last 10. He set up the screen nicely this time. Rufus Brown down to the 47-yard line. Clock running with 38 seconds to go. And now a timeout called.
Well, we talked about McGee with that strong leg coming in 3 for 3. Then you talked about when in this particular game, he's already 0 for 2, so he had his first 2 misses of the season. But they've got to get the ball all the way down to the 30-yard line for him to even really have a good, legitimate shot at it.
And not much of a wind here today. Maybe a slight breeze. It's a crosswind. Oscar Davenport, last year's offensive MVP for this team.
You know, and he had that mobility last year where he could get in and out of trouble. Today he's trying, but he's not nearly as quick as he was. Let me take you back in time. All right, now watch the mobility of Oscar Davenport when he was healthy. All right, he drops back, there's the pressure, sneaks through a crease, breaks a couple tackles. Again, fakes the play action, gets outside. Once he sees some room outside and throws on the run, bingo, touchdown. But today, he's a little bit rusty, doesn't have the same kind of mobility that he's had in the past. He's testing his knee for the very first time in game situation, and it's just not there yet.
Yeah, it's a lot different when you're running around in practice and then in the game. Davenport, just 192 pounds at 6'5", kind of spindly. Suffered a setback last year against the Florida State Seminoles in that huge game. Broke his fibula right there. 3rd down and 3 for North Carolina. Quick 3-step drop, and it's incomplete, intended for Danny Davis.
Well, and now they're going to have to punt, so they've lost any scoring opportunity. Now you just want to make sure that you don't give Antoine Edwards a chance to return it. You want to kick this ball to the left or the right, but certainly not down the middle where Edwards is.
Edwards back deep for Clemson. Gonna let it bounce. Well, we've seen both teams now do a good job on special teams, downing the ball inside the 5-yard line, a 52-yard punt. And Clemson will start off deep again in its own territory.
If I'm down here, I just want to make sure the exchange is clean, the quarterback gets the ball, just take a knee, but you don't want to step back too far.
No.
Because 2 steps, you got a safety.
You want to tell the freshman Dantzler where exactly he is on the field. And Tim, so far, the youngster really hasn't hurt his team.
No, he really hasn't.
He's done what he's had to do, and they could go into the locker room with a touchdown lead.
He's had a couple mental errors where he took too much time and a delay game, but you're right, he hasn't done anything severe.
The management major managing his steps there, getting a little bit more room. And he will take his team into the locker room at halftime. Hey, folks, don't you dare bury Tommy West. Still a lot of giddy up in his gallop as his team leads 14-7 at halftime. Don't forget Valvoline halftime. Coming up next, John Saunders and Todd Blackledge with scores and highlights. On a sunny afternoon, rife with expectations in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, Clemson leads 14-7. I'm Mark Jones along with Tim Brent. Tim, fair to say the story of the first half was Clemson's defense. Not only did they score a touchdown, they knocked Ronald Curry out of the game.
Yeah, I think you're right when you say that, too. They have been fairly dominant. Ronald Curry, of course, was going to play a lot today, but they did knock him out early. So when he goes out, that means Davenport comes in. And right away, Davenport knocked off some of the Rusco's here 20-yard touchdown to Bailey and looked sharp. That was the Oscar Davenport of last year when he was the MVP of this offense. But then watch this. He comes back, a little bit of rush showing. Jones misses it. Artley gets it, and he takes it the distance 26 yards. Witherspoon had the other touchdown from 1 yard out. But all the turnovers in this ball game have turned into points. And that has definitely been the story thus far. But you're right, Mark. It has, in fact, been the defense for Clemson that's dominated.
And look at this. Ronald Curry now is putting on his uniform. He had taken it off. We were told by their medical staff that he would not return for the rest of the game. But there he is putting on his uniform once again. Oscar Davenport has gone the distance since his injury. This is Edwards on the return for the Tigers. 25-yard return out to the 29-yard line. Now time for the Morgan Stanley Dean Witter first half stats.
Mark, this will show you what we were talking about as far as the turnovers. North Carolina with 4 of them, and then look at the points off turnovers. Clemson has the 2 touchdowns, 14 points. Third down conversion, 0 for 6 for the Tigers.
Boy, just 2 first downs.
Yeah, see that, and that's a problem. We talked about how well the Clemson defense played in that first half, but they were on the field almost the entire time because these guys couldn't move the chains.
Dantzler and the offense hoping to give them a break here, no doubt, in the second half. This is Zachary. And Zachary is shot down by number 31, Dre Bly, at the 30-yard line. Good run for support that time by Bly.
Talked about Bly being the best corner in the country. I really believe he is. Although I'm not, you know, he ought to hit him high and wrap, because if that guy hurdles him, he's gone. He is the last line of defense, but that guy right there is as good as they get. He'll be playing on Sundays next year.
2nd and 9. Witherspoon, the fullback, and a first down for Clemson over the 40-yard line. Number 26, you mentioned his size. 260 pounds. He gains 11 yards, and like you said, if he's in the secondary, it's lights out.
Yeah, and they move Witherspoon. I mean, he plays fullback, but they'll play him at tailback as well. It's amazing that a man that big can have that kind of mobility, that kind of speed. Look at him now. Once he gets into the secondary, you're talking about a guy 180 pounds trying to take down a guy 260.
Great block that time by 74, the right guard, Panasowicz. Try the other side. Witherspoon again, and a flag down at the 41-yard line. Witherspoon out to the 45.
We talked about this at the beginning of the game. Put Witherspoon back there, 260 pounds, and just start like a battering ram, go after him. But if the offense is going to hold and send you back, well, then it's not going to help you.
This one will go against the Tigers.
10 yards from the spot of the foul. Beat first down.
Watch the left tackle closest to you, 71. That's Halsey. See how he kind of comes out wide and just wraps his arms around Spoon, and then eventually Spoon just releases him. But they saw that when he came out with his arms past the shoulders and around the rib cage, and they called it.
Look at Ronald Curry now warming up on the Carolina sidelines. The injury was to his non-throwing shoulder, his left shoulder. First down and 20 for Dantzler and Clemson. Completes it to his back. That's Javis Austin out of the backfield, out to the 43-yard line, so they get back some of the yardage they lost in the prior play due to the penalty.
Pick up 11, you still need 8.
Austin, Zachary, a couple of talented tailbacks.
Almost a 12-yard pickup, and see, now they're still faced with 2nd down and 8 to go, almost 9 yards, and that's not the situation you want to be in. You want to pick up a lot of yardage on your first down.
Backs line up out of the offset eye. Dantzler keeps it himself. Dropped right at the 50-yard line by number 52, Cedric Hodge, out of Atlanta, Georgia. One of those Carolina linebackers in a long, strong tradition of talented linebackers.
Watch the white jerseys engage, though. They fire out, they engage, and they block off this wall here and allow him to pick up the yardage, which is just a yard shy of the first. But, I mean, he almost gets there. Nice job by Vanasowitz and Postel on that corner. Look at this.
0 for 6 so far in third down situations. And they give it to old reliable Witherspoon, who has the first down at the 45-yard line. That's got to be a bit of a confidence booster, Tim, for the offense.
I think you're right. Now, I think they're in the situation now, too, by moving into North Carolina territory and having the first down where you can go back to the battering ram theory. Start giving it to Witherspoon again. They want to melt as much clock as they can, give their defense a rest, keep the offense of Carolina on the bench, and move the chains.
Zachary now in at tailback, and this is him. Dancing outside to lose a couple of tacklers. Zachary with a first down at the North Carolina 33-yard line, a pickup of 12, and they move the chains again.
Witherspoon gets a block, Gardner gets a block, Watts gets a block. Boy, this is a good changeup. You go from the battering ram to the speed. Look at Witherspoon cuts off the corner. Zachary cuts out. Look at the receiver outside. 7 Watts gets a block, and boom, first down again.
So far, the most impressive drive of the afternoon for Clemson. They give it to Witherspoon, who's chopped down to the 31-yard line by Joey Evans, number 95. Talked about this North Carolina defense. They lost 8 starters from a year ago. 6 of them are playing in the NFL right now, or were on NFL opening day rosters.
Yeah, we already talked about Greg Ellis and Bonnie Holiday, of course Mays and Simmons. Robert Williams turned pro last season after his junior year. Dre Bly could have, but didn't.
Zachary stopped up just shy of the 30-yard line. About 7 yards to go for the first down. Clemson on its opening series here of the second half. Look at the current drive, 8 plays, and using up some clock, giving that defense a very well-deserved rest, something they haven't had today. Third down from the 30. 7 to go. Dantzler didn't appear to know where he wanted to go. That was a broken play from the start. A lot of confusion down there.
Yeah, I can't figure it out. They sent trips out, 3 receivers to the Carolina side, the short side of the field, and then it looked like he wanted to run right away. He didn't even want to look at the receivers.
David Richardson in to attempt a field goal now from 47 yards out.
Comes in 4 for 4. He's 1 for 2 beyond 50 yards. This is definitely within his range.
Yeah. This would be his long of the year. And it's blocked. Somebody got a hand on it, and it'll be no good. Hodge running with it now. And Hodge makes something of it. Takes it back out to the 32-yard line. A 19-yard return for number 52, Cedric Hodge, the linebacker. So the special teams unit of North Carolina rises literally to the occasion and blocks the field goal attempt. We'll be right back. Well, it's going to be a heck of a game on Monday night. Meanwhile, Oscar Davenport in at quarterback. Ronald Curry, the freshman, now with his uniform on, watching from the sidelines. We were told he would not return because of the shoulder stinger he suffered. That could change, no doubt. The flanker screen to Bailey, and Bailey is brought down finally at the 50-yard line by the free safety, number 12, DeMarco Fox. but not before he picked up 19 yards.
Corey Bailey having a big afternoon, already has the touchdown catch. So the redshirt freshman this time with a stutter step, boom, comes back in the flanker screen. Now looks for blue jerseys to get behind. First one he sees there is 76 Gimbel. Sneaks behind him, and man, he's got good speed. DeMarco Fox takes him down, but as you said, a gain of 19, moves the chains and puts him up near the 50-yard line.
Handed off to Rufus Brown. Brought down at the 48-yard line. And remember, folks, at the conclusion of today's game, we'll select the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the Game for each team. In recognition of these athletes, Chevrolet will make a contribution to each school's general scholarship fund. That's coming up later. Be second down, about 8 to go. North Carolina on its initial possession of the second half. Three receiver set. Davenport was looking for Stevens, and he's sacked back at the 44-yard line by Adrian Dingle. That's his 6th sack of the season, closing in on a Clemson record. A loss of 8 yards on the play.
The play before, Mobert's a tight end, lost his shoe. He had to come out, so they went to a spread formation. Stevens never had any room to move. Ardley had him in man coverage and stayed in his hip pocket the whole way. So Davenport had nowhere to throw, so that's a coverage sack. Gave Dingle time to get to him.
Ardley had that interception returned for a touchdown earlier. Third down and 16. Into the seam and complete at the 35-yard line. Nay Brown, and a first down for North Carolina. A clutch reception. He picked up 19.
A lot of folks around here think he has the best hands in the ACC. I'm not sure about that, but he had 10 catches coming in 3 games, but he averages 16 yards a catch. Here he just tries to find the soft spot in the middle of the zone and does, right down the middle. But this ball is put perfectly by Davenport. You know, he has shown signs of being the MVP again. He has shown signs of the quarterback he was a year ago when he knocked Chris Keldorf out of the starting spot.
Sure is. That's Dyer, Tim, on the carry. Off tackle over the left side. Running over Surigao and Wagstaff. Oscar Davenport bouncing back from an injury he suffered on the first series of the first game this year.
Here's a look at Steve Marshall, the offensive coordinator. Came into this game with 8 or 9 plays that he wanted to run and do it under the disguise of about 10 different formations. We've seen him go wide. We've seen him go tight. Here they go again out of the shotgun with 3 wides.
Davenport. The pass is ruled complete at the 25-yard line. That's Bailey again, working on Edwards.
Boy, how about that? Corey Bailey's the hot receiver now, and he's matched up with the best defensive back they've got. Watch this. All right, Bailey, number 12, just running a quick hitch and out. And then look at the play. Good coverage by Edwards, but the throw again was perfect. So right now, your guy, Oscar Davenport, is in rhythm, and he's throwing strikes.
You can see the chunks of rust falling off him with every pass.
Not kidding. He's hit his last 3. 3 for 3 on this drive.
Backside of the eye. First and 10. Here's Davenport. And he's picked off by Edwards. He went back there one too many times.
Boy, I tell you what, he is big time. Antoine Edwards, you don't want to keep going after the best defensive back. Eventually, he's going to bite you. Oscar Davenport had plenty of protection. Thought he had a receiver. Threw into coverage. Bingo.
ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. The Home Depot, America's home improvement coach. National Car Rental. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. And Sleep In. Oscar Davenport throwing an interception. Carolina's 4th turnover. Antoine Edwards with the pick, and this is the 4th time Clemson is starting inside its own 10. Dantzler hands it off to Travis Zachary. Gains a couple.
As you go across the country, it's fun to watch all the explosions of the offenses. But you come into a game like this and both D's are playing well. Clemson's playing well. They're getting big plays from Antoine Edwards. He has the big interception there to stop it. We saw his punt return. On the other side, you've got the best corner, I think, in the country. That's a step ahead of Antoine. That'd be Dre Bly. It's fun to see a game dominated by two defenses.
You might get an argument from Edwards today on who's better. And there's the other guy we're talking about, waiting to make his mark. The run is piled up again. Witherspoon couldn't find a seam. And it will be 3rd and long for the Clemson offense. 5 minutes to go now in the 3rd period. Dre Bly, a 2-time consensus All-American with 17 career interceptions, boldly said that he won't get beat for another touchdown this year.
You know, he's very quick with the read, run and pass. Instincts are fantastic. He's been beaten a couple times this year, you're right, but he's got great amnesia. I mean, he loses in a hurry.
And they're not testing him on this play as they try to run it over the left side. Zachary again is short of the 1st down.
If you're going to be a great cornerback, you've got to have a short memory. I mean, you have to forget things quickly. He was beaten twice last week. I guarantee he's forgotten it. He's playing aggressive and with a lot of confidence.
Laird coming into punt for Clemson. And Corey Bailey is standing at midfield for North Carolina. Bailey is a dangerous return man. Out of his end zone. Carolina will take over at Clemson's 48-yard line. A 40-yard punt. Oscar Davenport trying to draw his team closer when we come back. The golden hues of early October are beginning to pierce their way through the stadium. 14-7, Clemson leads North Carolina. Look at Oscar Davenport here in the 2nd half. 3 for 4, but that one interception killed the last drive. Ace formation, 2 tights and 2 wideouts, a single back set. On the waggle. Davenport tried to find Nate Brown, but he had his tight end, Mogridge, wide open. Incomplete. 2nd down and 10. .348 to play in the 3rd quarter.
And the longer this game goes on, the more Carolina is going to start questioning itself. They're 0-3, looking for things to start clicking in, but here they are trailing Clemson, a team they thought they could come in and handle.
Same formation. They hand it off to Dyer this time. Flag thrown at midfield in the area of a hold. Talk about Carolina turning the ball over 4 today. And this penalty against the Tar Heels. With 4 today, they've now committed 12 turnovers, Tim, in the last 4 games.
It's going to happen for Carl Torbush. It is going to happen for him. He's a fine coach. This is his second head coaching job. Comes into Carolina, takes over from Mack Brown. He's been here as the defensive coordinator and certainly had the top defense for the last 3 years.
Holding offense 10 yards from the spot of the foul, and we'll repeat 2nd down.
When you finish 4th in the nation, expectations go up big time.
Exactly.
And he says he likes that. He likes the high expectations. But in reality, he's got a young team. He's rebuilding and replacing a lot of quality players.
And getting back to your point about him still coaching the defensive unit, says he enjoys staying in contact with his players. And that, in essence, Tim, I think builds up better chemistry.
But this is the 4th Carolina drive that started in Clemson territory. So they're not taking care of business. They're not taking advantage of their opportunities.
2nd down and 20. Davenport has the man downfield. Almost an incredible catch by Nate Brown. He laid out, had gotten behind Edwards, but it's incomplete.
Well, I tell you what, Dingle came with pressure, but Davenport showed his mobility, and Brown almost made a great catch. They say here that he could have the best hands in the ACC. Well, I don't know. I mean, Torrey Holt's pretty good. Peter Warwick, Desmond Clark, maybe. But I want to tell you something. This is almost a great catch. Watch his left hand reach out and almost pull it in. And it's the ground that knocks it loose. He almost has that thing to his right hand where he could have put the grasp on it. Oh, what a great effort by Nate Brown. He had 55 receptions a year ago, and the senior almost had the biggest one of this year. DeMarco Fox was the guy on the coverage.
Big play here, Tim. 3rd down and 20. Davenport airs it out again for Stevens. And it's incomplete at the 15. It'll be 4th down and 20 to go for Carolina. Ardley in on the coverage.
They're taking their shots, but they're squandering the field position. Ardley's got good coverage here, although, you know, I thought this ball could have been caught. Watch, it goes right through his hands. LC goes up for it and right through his hands.
Good point. Zachary will field this at the 15. Travis Zachary. And a flag thrown at the 27-yard line. Nice return by the redshirt freshman. 18-yard return off a 43-yard punt.
When things aren't going well for you, you try to do a little extra, and it normally brings a lot of flags, but here they're going to pick it up.
Disregard the flag. No foul.
Well, Tuesday night after Spin City, another brand new episode of the show that the critics are calling the best new comedy of the year. From the writer of A Few Good Men, go behind the scenes to where the real life happens on Sports Night, Tuesday at 9:30, 8:30 Central on ABC. This week, Tim Brandt starring as himself. Just kidding.
No, you're not.
Well, it's Clemson and North Carolina here trying to make everybody's Sports Night highlight reel. Clemson with a touchdown lead. Dantzler the pass. Oh, my. And he put it on the ground. Clemson got it back. Javis Austin, number 5, the backup tailback, pounced on the loose ball. Ebenezer Ecubon was the one that forced the fumble.
And I mean to tell you, folks, he just tags Dantzler. Dantzler gets up looking out of his ear hole. Here he comes. And they throw him to the ground rather rudely. That's great hustle to get that ball back by Austin. But watch this. I mean, he gets an arm on him, and then, I mean, just pile drives him. Sticks his face in the dirt.
That's what you call initiation. 2nd and 23.
Ebenezer didn't even play ball until his junior year in high school. He's just learning how to play this game.
Approaching 2 minutes to play in the period. 2nd and long. Witherspoon runs it for a couple of yards. It'll be 3rd down and long. 22 yards to go. And Tim, this is where Clemson is a little bit limited. Back to Ecubon, though. He really is an amazing story.
He can play defensive end. He can play tight end. Didn't play football until he was a junior in high school. Went to Bladensburg High School in Riverdale, Maryland. He is a terrific story.
He and his family emigrating from Ghana, West Africa. Dantzler on the pitch to Zachary. Still on his feet. Out to the 34-yard line. Short of the 1st down. The tackle made by Brandon Spoon, number 44. Well, Clemson did use a little clock as we approach a minute to play in the 3rd period. Tommy West team clinging to a 7-point lead. Laird into punt. And he gets up a great one, driving Bailey back to the 14. Flag down at the 32, Bailey down at the 28. A 52-yard punt. It's the type of game, Tim, where neither offense really has any flow. Special teams could end up deciding it.
And defenses. Of course, the defenses have come up with big plays. Clemson scored off their defense.
During the return, illegal block in the back on the receiving team. 10 yards from the end of the run, and it's a first down.
That's what I was talking about, Mark. When you're losing, when things aren't going well, try to do a little extra and try to make a play that you don't have, and it causes a flag.
Hey, next week, college football on ABC, a great matchup. Georgia Tech against NC State, a couple of unbeatens in the ACC. That's at 3:30 Eastern time. Torrey Holt and the gang taking on Georgia Tech. And then the rest of you will see either Nebraska, Texas A&M, or Kansas State against Colorado. Boy, what about Nebraska? They're looking real sharp.
Think that Kansas State-Nebraska game's not going to be fun?
Looming large. 1st and 10 from the 19-yard line for North Carolina. Davenport throwing the out. Incomplete, intended for L.C. Stevens. You know, L.C. Stevens is coming off of a knee injury. He hurt the knee against Stanford, and his timing seemed to be off a little bit there, Tim. Injured player, meanwhile, down on the field.
Yeah, and I think it's Antoine Edwards shaking up on that play. He's the guy that came in with a bad hamstring. They didn't even know if he was going to play. They were going to try him and see how he felt. Obviously, he felt good, was making some big plays. Just shaking up a little bit here. This is zone coverage. See everybody dropping back into their areas. Ball's thrown high, and then he came in with a lick. I can't see what he injured, but sometimes you just overextend yourself.
Yeah. There's Davenport on 2nd and 10. Well, Edwards has responded well today in spite of that hamstring injury.
He goes out. Crutchfield comes in.
See if they work on Crutchfield. They throw the out. They do. And Nay Brown, number 18, has a first down for North Carolina. Out at the 39-yard line, a pickup of 20 yards. So, Tim, they went right at the sub.
Daryl Crutchfield is certainly capable, but he comes in to replace Antoine Edwards, and he's coming back from a knee injury. So if you look at Crutchfield, number 30, see, he doesn't have everything in place yet. I mean, he was injured. He hadn't really been getting the reps out there, and you can see that he was not sure of the move, got caught inside, and they broke outside and made a completion. So they take him out and bring Edwards back in.
Quick 3-step drop. Brown with the reception, and Antoine Edwards with a hit right away at the 40-yard line. 5th reception.
They bring him back. They test him right away, but I want you to watch how fast he breaks on the ball. As soon as he causes the hitch and Brown stops, he breaks, and absolutely nothing there for Brown.
Antoine Edwards, a marketing major. No doubt he'll be marketing his skills in the National Football League next season. As we have 45 minutes in the books. Oscar Davenport and North Carolina trailing by 7. ABC Sports presentation of college football returns after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
This is ABC Sports, home of the Bowl Championship Series.
Clemson leading 14-7 as we get started for the 4th period here. And the defensive coordinator of Clemson, Reggie Herring, said, you know, Carolina's at a crossroads too. We're not sure what they're going to do, but I can guarantee you one thing, guys. You're going to see a different Clemson defense today.
See if they don't send some receivers deep to try to get him out of the area and maybe throw to a back underneath, because they're having all kinds of problems with Edwards.
2nd down and 8. Davenport going up top again. Edwards in on the coverage.
Can you believe it?
Incomplete.
They keep going after him, and he just keeps making the plays.
Corey Bailey.
The hits keep coming.
Yep. Corey Bailey was the intended receiver. Antoine Edwards right there to bat it down.
I mean, this is man coverage. And look at Edwards. Edwards now locks on to him, has the coverage. He's looking for the pick, and it's Bailey who has to become the defender and knock it away.
Yeah, Edwards looked like he was more the receiver than the other guy. 3rd down and 8.
They put him in man a lot, but you could see in that when they did play a man free too, they had help back there for the other corners.
Davenport out of the shotgun this time. Quick receiver screen to Bailey, and he's brought down short of the 1st down at the 44-yard line by Chris Jones. Back to John Saunders in our New York studio.
All right, Mark, time for the Burger King play of the day. Cade McNown giving up his body for the Bruins, taking this one towards the end zone, dives at the last minute and gets it into the house for the touchdown. 35-10, UCLA with the lead.
All right, John. And Travis Zachary is nailed right away. And Carolina violated that 2-yard halo around the punt returner. Danny Davis made the stick. No doubt that's the call.
I think we ought to check the date. Looks like Flag Day.
5-yard penalty. First down.
All kinds of penalties by both teams today.
Well, if you're Clemson offensively, you got to get things going with a 7-point lead. Take a short break and be right back. Clemson leading 14-7. Brandon Streeter, the backup quarterback, 2 touchdowns, 9 interceptions on the season. Last week played very poorly against Wake Forest, and that's why this man, Woody Dantzler, is in a quarterback. And he's sacked back at the 16. You know, Tim, that's happened a couple of times today where he's rolled out behind his guard, number 71, Hulsey, and seemed to really bump into him or couldn't see over him.
Yeah, and he's not getting it done, and I'm telling you, it's eating this guy. It's eating his insides out. Brandon Streeter worked so hard to be the starting quarterback at Clemson. As you mentioned, the 9 interceptions. He went into a game 6 for 23 with 4 picks, and some of those were in self-defense. I mean, he had no protection, but they said his confidence was broken this past week. They want to get his confidence back up, and they want to get him back in the ball game. But I know right now his insides are killing him. He wants to be in the ball game.
Tommy West said, I wish there was a nice way to say it, but he just played very poorly. 2nd and 17 after that loss. Give us to the tailback. That's Javis Austin, number 5, who got maybe a couple. Stopped up by Mike Pringley, number 91.
The offense, Mark, is not moving the football very effectively for Clemson, and has not all day. But in Tommy West's mind, he's got a struggling football team. And right now the offense, although it's not moving the ball, it's not killing you with turnovers either. So he's going to stick with Dantzler, and he's not going to make that change as long as he has the lead.
Third down and 15. Dantzler completes the pass to Mal Lawyer at the 29-yard line, but it's short of the first down.
And I mean to tell you, Steve Fisher almost had the interception. This is something you don't want a freshman throwing. Watch this. A little quick out. Here comes the pass. 34 is Fisher. Makes the break, and the ball just beyond his fingertip. Dangerous, dangerous pass, especially deep in Carolina territory.
Laird standing on his 10. Punting to Corey Bailey at the 31. An end-over-end kick. And North Carolina gets a pretty good bounce. They'll start at their own 43-yard line, a 32-yard punt. Carl Torbush still waiting for the offense to get something going when we come back. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Ford F-Series. The best-selling trucks are built Ford tough. Microsoft, where do you want to go today? Liberty Mutual Insurance, helping people live safer, more secure lives. That's the freedom of liberty. And Valvoline, you can always tell the guys who use Valvoline. First and 10, North Carolina, starting on its own 43-yard line. I'm Mark Jones along with Tim Brent. Fourth quarter action, 12:32 to play. Davenport completes it to his tight end, Dante Finger. The first pass to the tight end today. And a first down at the 32-yard line. A pickup of 24.
Give the left guard Wagstaff some credit on this. Watch 73 come back and protect the quarterback. I'm going to ask you to stop it right there. Here's the block that keeps the pressure off of him so he can throw the football. He knocked him off his route, throws over top, and has the completion to Finger.
Finger, the better of the two receivers at tight end. Mogridge, the other one. Davenport intended for Stevens, working on Edwards, incomplete at the 22. He's second down and 10.
Boy, very few times today they've had success on first down plays, and there again, it'll be second down and 10. They don't get anything on first. I want to show you something. Look at this. 18 times they've had less than 3 yards on first down, and they've only been able to convert 4 times. That's what happens. Then you see what happens. They've had 3 plays of 10 plus. They've converted all 3 times.
Carolina with a lot of different formations, trying to be balanced. Davenport on the quick slant, complete to Nay Brown. And Brown is brought down at the 24-yard line, his 6th reception of the afternoon. About 2.5 yards short of the first down.
This is the point in the ball game where it starts to tell that the defense for Clemson's been on the field all afternoon. Because the offense hadn't been able to generate anything, Reggie Herring right here giving the signals to his defense knows he's got a defense that's tired.
Clemson's defense with 1 sack today. Coming in, they led the conference with 14. Davenport out of the shotgun. The screen. Brown. He's got a couple blocks. Brown brought down at the 5-yard line by Broomfield, and it's 1st and goal for the Tar Heels.
There's life back in this place. It's been a while, but here they come. He had trouble downfield, so now they're going to go under. They're going to throw the safe screen and get some guys out in front. Well, they do. Look at, they got Big Gimbel there. He throws a block. 66 throws a block. Ellis and Dawson throw blocks.
Now they go with a jumbo formation. 2 tight ends in, Mogridge and Finger. 3 backs, full house backfield. That's Brown. Touchdown.
Right here, you're going to get him to come through. Got the fullback Saunders, and there they go for the touchdown. Saunders 20, the fullback got a great block.
McGee in for the extra point. It's good. Rufus Brown with a nice run on the screen pass, and then a 4-yard touchdown scamper ties Carolina at 14 with Clemson. Yeah, he likes it too. We'll be right back.
Watch the blocks that Carolina gets from the backs to leading through. 1 kicks out, 1 kicks down. Go ahead and roll it. I'm telling you, these 2 guys, boom, boom, knocking them out of the way, and Brown almost walks in. Great blocks by Saunders and Dyer.
Edwards 4 yards deep. He's going to bring it out. Flag down. Edwards down at the 23-yard line. Flag thrown back at the 19 of Clemson.
Hey, back at home. Hey, Carolina, baby. What's up, Cuba? Doing it, baby. Hey, what's up, baby? So, I got this stuff. What's up, Adrian? Man.
Little camera shot.
Turn, holding on the receiving team, half the distance to the goal, and 1st down.
They're going to place the nose of the ball back just inside the 10-yard line, and that's where Woodrow Dantzler will start the offense for Clemson. Once again, deep in his own zone.
Reggie Herring, the defensive coordinator for Clemson, told us earlier in the week, if the offense just doesn't turn it over, the defense can win the game for them. Well, they haven't turned it over but once, but I'll tell you this, they haven't really had any offensive production either.
Give it to the fullback on the belly play. Terry Witherspoon brought down after about a gain of a yard.
There's Reggie Herring, the defense coordinator, hoping that they get some push, that they're able to give his players a rest. But you watch the blue jerseys win the battles up front. I mean, there's absolutely no push from the offensive line. And look at the blue jerseys just swarming to the football. That's great pursuit. 5 guys around the football every time it's run.
A lot of guys in the box on this play, too. Dantzler. Kenan fumbles it. Carolina recovers. Fisher. Carolina ball to 12.
Tried to run the option. Somehow, boom, Postel, his own guy. Number 70, the tackle, is the guy that hit the quarterback and knocked the ball loose. When things go bad, they really go bad. Now your own players are forcing fumbles.
You talk about buzzard's luck. That's probably a first, and there's the guy that recovered the fumble, Steve Fisher. 1st and 10 from the 12. Brown in motion.
Wide open.
Wide open. Dyer. Touchdown, Carolina.
Had to be a misdirection. Everything went left. Dyer snuck out right and nobody picked him up.
A costly turnover by the Clemson offense. And UNC is back up 21-14. They have the lead for the first time today. Is Oscar Davenport back? A definitive yes is the answer. Oscar Davenport with a short drive downfield. Real short. Throwing a touchdown pass to Dyer.
It's almost time for Streeter to come on, because right now Dantzler's 2 for 6, 18 yards. He's not generating the offense.
Austin and Wofford back deep. And they'll have to start on their own 20-yard line. Who's it going to be for the Clemson Tigers on this series?
It's going to be Dantzler, because Streeter's staying back there and warming up when the rest of the team's coming on.
Tim, can they come back?
He's back there waiting for the call. He's hoping he gets a call. He ought to go up and beg for the chance.
Make sure the coaches can see him at least. Can they come back with Dantzler, a guy who hasn't proven that he can throw the ball deep?
Well, you're dealing with a freshman, albeit very talented guy. But right now, Carolina's containing him, so he's not able to use his mobility, and he hadn't been able to throw well. He's only 2 for 6. So the answer then is no.
Backs out of the offset iron, 1st and 10. Running and brought down at the 19. Cedric Hodge, number 52 out of Atlanta, with the tackle.
It's exactly the point we were just talking about. They're cutting him off on the corner and not letting him get around it. They're forcing him back inside, and that's where the pursuit is. Now watch, they're contained conscious. He wants to get out on the corner, but see, they're forcing him back in, and that's where the blue jerseys are. They've done a nice job with flood control, and Carolina is running to the football. Terrific pursuit.
Sets up a 2nd down and 11. The trips left formation, 3 receivers out to the left.
That's a delay of game. He didn't get it off in time. And again, it's a freshman mistake.
Little frustration on the field now on Clemson's part.
See, and Tommy's saying, look at the clock. Snap the ball and let's go.
Streeter has the coach's ear, and here he comes. Brandon Streeter coming into the game now.
During the week, Mark, we talked to the coaches. And the coaches said that he had lost his confidence, that he was crushed, had worked so hard to become the starter, and when he failed, he thought he let his teammates down. Coaches have worked all week to rebuild his confidence because he is a talented, strong-arm player.
Completing 50% of his passes almost, but it's those 9 interceptions would put him on the bench for this game.
Tough spot to come into here.
Throws a deep ball. Got it. And you know what? He might have the right tonic for Clemson. Complete to number 8, Travis Zachary.
That ball was thrown perfectly with a lot of touch. He put it up in the air, put a lot of air under the ball, and let his receiver run under it, although he was double covered.
He might be charmed after all.
I mean, this is the spark they needed. Now watch. This is a great touch pass, but look at the coverage. But he throws it to the outside where only his guy can get it. I'm telling you, that is a nice play by Zachary, too, to keep his outside free.
And they threw it at Dre Bly, Tim Brent. First down and 10, 8:32 to play in the 4th period. Streeter now in the option. Austin, and he's brought down at the 45-yard line, gaining about 2.5 yards in the play. Ebenezer Ecubon, who's been in on many tackles today, making the stop that time, and he'll take a breather.
Look at Ebb's arms. They're like tree trunks.
Oh, bodied by Jake.
You know, a lot of times you can see guys that are built like that, you know, built like Tarzan, play like Jane, but he's the real deal. He'll get after you.
Dantzler now getting a look from the sidelines. Streeter in at quarterback. Completed his first and only pass. Getting a quick crash course on the offense, looking at his wrists. Barely got the play off. Nice screen set up. All kinds of room for Austin. Austin tackled at the 30-yard line, and Clemson has another first down after a 25-yard pickup. Great poise on that play, Tim, to set it up.
Questioned his confidence. You come in, you throw a completion, it builds your confidence. So you come back now, play action, roll away, now stop and throw back. We talked about Carolina's pursuit. What they did with a play like this was let Carolina over-pursue and let them run right out of the play and then come back over top of them and pick up the big gainer.
Austin now taking a breather after that nice run. First and 10 from the 31. Zachary. A shoestring tackle by number 9, Keith Newman, the linebacker from Tampa, Florida.
Carolina just not letting them run at all. But you go back to that backside screen, they were taking Carolina's assets and use it against the Tar Heels. Let them run themselves out and be as aggressive as they want, and then throw back over top of them.
Injured player down in the field. That's Clemson player. Number 77, Matt Butler. The 6'4" senior.
Well, I tell you, he's a load too. 6'4", 300 pounds. As you go across that offensive line, Halsey's 335, Gamble's over 300, Vanasowitz 302, Postel's just right around 295, 300. But the offensive line has struggled at times, giving up sacks and dozens of hurries.
Tommy West's team falling behind in the 4th quarter here for the first time this afternoon. Coming back now impressively on this offensive series. Brandon Streeter came in relief a couple of plays ago.
He's the left tackle right over here, number 77. Watch him get rolled up on. He comes down to locate the linebacker. All right, and then from behind, his own guard comes in behind him, and he gets totally bent back. And when you're talking about a man who is 6'4", 300, they aren't the most flexible guys.
I can't expect them to be. Well, Sunday Night Live at 8:15 Eastern Time on ESPN. It's Sunday Night Football. Seattle takes on Kansas City. Warren Moon and the Seahawks take on Derek Thomas and the Chiefs. Get out of the way, Warren. Here he comes. And then Monday night on ABC Sports. Monday Night NFL Football on ABC. Minnesota against Green Bay. 2 undefeated teams at 4-0 clashing. Brandon Streeter, 6'3", 197 pounds, a junior. And at quarterback, Dantzler on the sidelines now, getting a look. Aside for that one fumble, which led to the North Carolina turnover, Dantzler has had a fairly productive afternoon for Clemson. Streeter 2 for 2 passing the ball for a total of 52 yards meanwhile.
Boy, that was nasty looking the way Butler got bent back, and they're putting him in a stretcher, actually like a wheelchair type gurney, to get him off the field. So Akeel Smith comes in. He's just a freshman now. Will play that left tackle spot.
Second down and 11. Ball at the 32-yard line for the Clemson Tigers, who trail by 7 points. Under 7 minutes to play. Wofford in motion. Play fake for Lawyer. Picked off by Dre Bly, but will it stand? There's a flag down at the 9-yard line. It was the second time today they threw at Dre Bly.
But Streeter hung this one up. He threw this one up in the air and underthrew it, and so the receiver and defensive back were bumping and grinding. And this is going to be a pass interference call against Lawyer, I believe. No, it is against Bly.
Defensive pass interference, 15 yards from the previous spot, and it's an automatic first down.
Boy, Tim, that one seemed like it was up for grabs for a long time.
It was up for grabs, and that's why I wasn't sure which way they're going to call it. Now watch this. To the right of your screen, you can see the guys. They're both pushing and shoving. Of course, Bly had his jersey, though. He almost undressed him. Threw off balance, didn't step into the throw, and just hung it up for grabs. You can't do that. Gets away with one there.
Well, now with Streeter in at quarterback, you would think that they might be able to throw at Bly should they choose.
They haven't been able to run. I'd go ahead and I'd keep Streeter throwing. I'd take my shots. I'd take 4 shots right from here.
2 receivers out to the right of Streeter. That's Wofford in motion. Fires incomplete. Intended for the tight end, T.J. Watkins. Watkins did get a hand on it. And he, again, another youngster, just a freshman.
Again, it's a dangerous pass because it's tipped, but he's going for Watkins' tight end. Now watch, he gets his left hand on it, and he just puts it up in the zone, and there's 4 blue jerseys around there.
Second down and 10. Gardner split to the top of your screen. On the option, short side of the field, Zachary. Or they're going to mark this. He's pushed out of bounds at the 7.
You know, they say that Dantzler runs the option a lot better than Streeter. But Streeter this time, I don't know if it was confusion, but he held the ball and faked it nicely. Watch, he doesn't know whether to keep it there or not, but that extra step kind of draws in the contain guy outside. So it looked like it was Peace that came inside. They pitch it outside, and he gets the first down.
And we got a 1st and goal situation for Tommy West's team. Easily their most impressive drive of the day. Zachary running between the tackles. Over Hulsey and Gamble, tackled by Marcus Dow, number 78 from Thomasville, North Carolina. It'll be 2nd down and goal. Dow getting up slowly. That penalty against Dre Bly setting up the 1st and 10 for Clemson. Ball on the 4-yard line. The All-American on the corner against Lawyer. Out of the shotgun. Streeter had it tipped, and it falls incomplete in the end zone.
Cedric Hodge, the linebacker, got a hand on it.
It'll be 3rd down and goal for the Tigers.
He's looking at him all the way, never looks off his intended receiver. There's the hand by the linebacker, and again the ball's up for grabs, and that's extremely dangerous in this situation. You've got 5:31 to play, and you need a touchdown here.
Both teams looking for their 1st conference win.
See if they run it to the wide side of the field. Coming towards you.
Witherspoon and Zachary. He keeps it on the option. Streeter brought down in the middle of the field at the 2-yard line by Sherrod Peace. One of the surprises so far, and a great story for the Clemson Tigers.
Clemson wants a timeout to talk about this, because this is going to bring up 4th down inside the 5, 5:13 to go, and you're down 7.
Time to take a deep breath for Tommy West and think this one over. We'll be right back. 4th and goal for the Clemson Tigers, who trail by 7. Nose of the ball just outside the 2-yard line. They're going to go for it. Streeter was stopped on the last play on the option.
Got to go for it here. 5:13.
Zachary, the deep back. On the pitch. Zachary falls to the 5, and they hold.
Great defensive stand by Carolina.
And Dre Bly was there seeking a little redemption after being whistled for the pass interference earlier.
The good news for Clemson was, though, that was an 11-play drive, 75 yards, and ate up 5 minutes, so your defense got a rest. And Carolina will be backed up. He may have pitched that one a little bit too early. Never really drew him in. He's either got to be decisive, cut it up, or pitch it out. But wait until the defensive end contains the either commits one way or the other, and he didn't wait.
Clemson with 2 timeouts remaining. North Carolina with 3. Saunders runs it and gets about 2.5, 3 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd down, 7 to go. There's a timeout situation. North Carolina maybe trying to run the ball now, but they haven't been able to do it that successfully today. Hey, time permitting, folks, stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report featuring scores and highlights from across the country. Going to call it 2nd and 9. Rufus Brown this time running off the right tackle. Jones and Ellison out to the 5.
Still too early for Clemson to use its 2 timeouts. Brings up a 3rd and 5. They want to make a stop here, and if they do, they should get good field position with still plenty of time left on the clock. Well, Reggie Herring right there, the defensive coordinator, knows full well how big this 3rd and 5 is to his ball club. Now, they've just gotten a good rest. The offense gave them 5 full minutes in an 11-play drive.
For the first time today. Third down and 5. It's Rufus Brown again, and he doesn't get the first down. Tripped up at the 12-yard line. Nice play on the outside. Number 28, that's Ardley, who had an interception for a touchdown earlier today.
Now, the last 2 punt returns, they've had Antoine Edwards on the bench, and they put Ardley back. This time Edwards asked to go back, but the coaches sent out Ardley.
And here's Zachary at the 47-yard line, eludes a couple of tacklers, brought down at the 46-yard line. A 42-yard punt, 9 on the return. Edwards bailing out on the punt return at the last minute.
I said Ardley meant Zachary, but the point being that Antoine Edwards was asking the coaches if he could go back and return the football, and they didn't let him.
So still plenty of time, and there's a look at the defensive stalwart for Clemson, Edwards.
Still has that flat tire, though. Has that hamstring problem, and he can't stretch out fully and run at full speed.
First down and 10. Streeter steps up, intended for Lawyer. May have thrown that one away. Stops the clock with 3:07 to play. Still have their 2 timeouts remaining.
Still plenty of time for Tommy West and Clemson. 3:07. He's got 2 timeouts left. And he's got great field position in Carolina territory. But they've got to move the chains. They've got to be smart, get out of bounds if they don't get the first.
Clemson now with 4 receivers in on this play.
This is where you would worry about the confidence of Streeter. He's got to be a gunslinger here.
Out of the shotgun. He's going to take off.
Didn't get out of bounds, so the clock will continue to move now under 3 minutes.
Nose of the ball at the 40-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and about 4 to go.
But you're in 4 down territory now, so you have 2 plays here to get a first.
They send out 4 receivers again. And he's sacked back at the 43-yard line by Tito Simpson.
Got to take a timeout here. Got to take a timeout. They finally take one, but they used up about 10 seconds. You don't want your quarterback to take a sack. He's got to either throw it away or step up and just rip it. But you can't take the sack. He did, and if you do, you got to call timeout immediately.
Clemson now with 1 timeout remaining. Time now for our Home Depot coaches fact. And did you know that not only are Tommy West and Carl Torbush good friends, but they're also former collegiate baseball players. West, a pretty good hitter, batted .367, and Torbush playing at Carson Newman at .401. And Coach Torbush told us that he could hit the changeup and the curveball pretty good. Few changeups thrown at him in this game.
Those guys actually played against each other quite a bit playing baseball.
Tommy West's team with just 1 timeout remaining now. 4th down, 7 to go.
This is the ball game right here, this play.
I really like that backside screen that they ran a while ago.
Yeah, but see, now they put themselves in a little bit of a hole. Because Streeter, who didn't get as many repetitions in practice this week while they prepared Dantzler, comes into this late game pressure, and he could not take a sack there, and he did.
Now look at their numbers on 4th down conversions today. Streeter is 2 of 5.
Carolina makes a stop here. It's a ball game. Their first win of the year.
They come with the blitz. Zachary open, and he has got the first down at the 34-yard line.
Wow.
Whew, what a play.
And I mean, just barely made the first.
Tommy West will take it. They move the sticks, stop the clock with 2:14 to play.
You like the misdirection, and that's pretty much what they gave you. But what they did is they let the defense come hard, then threw back over top. Watch now. Here comes the blitz. They see the blitz, pick it up, throw underneath. That's a well-designed play, too.
Streeter looking downfield on the out. Complete. And the ball is on the 12-yard line. Marcus Martin with a nice catch and run.
Now you're in an interesting situation where you're down to the 11 with under 2 minutes to play. You want to take your time now. You don't want to rush because you don't want to give any time back to Carolina when you score.
$18-yard pickup. On the screen. Oh, and it's fumbled.
Clemson got it back.
They're going to rule it incomplete. They're going to rule that incomplete.
Dangerous pass, almost hit by a defender when it is. Finally, boy, that was a fumble. They ruled it incomplete, but it was a fumble, but moot point because it was recovered by Clemson. Down to a minute and a half now. Clemson might as well just go ahead, try to score, get the 1 point, tie the game. You're on the road, tie it, take it into overtime. Don't go for 2.
Boy, Carolina has played in so many close games this year. They've lost 2 with game-winning field goals. And Clemson has lost a tight one this year as well against Virginia. Conference game earlier. It's 2nd down and 10.
I think they're going to put more time on the clock, aren't they? called it incomplete, so they want to put a couple more seconds on the clock.
The officials talking about it right now.
And they do. Put 3 more seconds on the clock. There's 1:38 left.
Lawyer is in the slot to the right. Streeter goes the other way, complete. And it's fumbled again. Who's got it? Out of bounds.
That's a touchback. That's a touchback, I believe. It'll be Carolina ball. Carolina ball at the 20.
Brian Wofford, number 25, made the reception and couldn't hang on to it.
Tommy West praying that they would call that he was down. Oh my, and I mean Streeter threw this ball to Wofford on a line, perfectly thrown. Gets down to the 1, no question that ball's loose.
Dre Bly made the hit.
And agonizingly goes out of bounds for the touchback. Are you kidding me? Wow. Carolina now should hold on for its first win of the year.
An incredible finish, depressingly so, for Clemson, should this one end this way. 7 turnovers total in the game. Dyer on the carry. They're going to try and burn the clock. Brian Wofford.
Clemson will take its final timeout.
Who's had such a good year for Clemson. 54-yard touchdown catch against Virginia.
Actually, the clock's still moving. I thought Clemson took its final timeout and didn't. Play clock down to 10 as Carolina melts as much as it can off the clock.
Second down and 8. Robinson on the carry.
40 seconds left. I'm not sure why they're waiting. Now they take a timeout.
Clemson led 14-7 at the half. Gave up a couple of touchdowns in the second half. One of them on a costly turnover deep in their own zone.
I like Tommy West a lot. And I know what he's going through with the young players and the mistakes they're making, because they've really hurt themselves badly with these mistakes and turnovers. It's been the story of the season for them. They're that close, so that close. And when they get some experience in these kids, they're going to be very, very talented. But the folks in Clemson have to be patient, because Tommy West can coach now. And I'll guarantee you the folks here are being patient with Carl Torbush. He, too, is an outstanding coach. But as one of the assistants at Clemson said, you know, our contract, the ink is dry. His contract, the ink's still wet. You know, they're going to give him more time.
And the frustration continues to mount for Tommy West. Although he does remain a picture of dignity, taking everything in stride. Carl Torbush on the verge of winning his first conference game as a head coach.
Yeah, you have to feel good for him. Now, he came in and he won the Gator Bowl last year when he took over for Mack Brown, but he comes into this season as, you know, his first full season as head coach, and they get off to a little bit of a slow start. Well, they win one today. They earned it with 2 quick touchdowns in the 4th quarter.
They're going through the locker room, speaking with the players. They really wanted to play for him. They lobbied for his hiring after Mack Brown left for Texas. And they didn't want to lose him, especially his defensive players. And they got the job done for him today. The Chevrolet most valuable players of the game are Clemson's Antoine Edwards right there. 7 tackles, 1 interception, and 3 passes broken up. And Ebenezer Ekubon right there for North Carolina. 1 forced fumble, 1 blocked field goal, and 1.5 sacks to go along with 8 tackles. That is a good day's work. A Chevrolet donation will be made to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. It's been a Chevrolet tradition for more than a quarter of a century. So Carl Torbush and North Carolina get their first win of the 1998 season, improving to 1-3. And you can only feel for Tommy West of Clemson. They fall to 1-4. The final score from Chapel Hill, 21-14. It wasn't pretty, but Carolina comes away with the win. The Chevy Thrifty post-game report is next.
With the help of the college fund, I went to college.